100% approval?
believe in NATO, in the alliance between Europe and America in NATO. I'm going to
NATO
go to the
is
summit in June.
very much involved in this.
Wow.
When I first got elected at the very beginning, first term, I got hundreds of millions of dollars put into NATO. NATO had no money because they hadn't paid for years. And I said, look, if you don't pay, we're not
Go
going
on.
to be part of NATO. We're not going to protect. We're not going to do
Indeed.
what we're supposed to do. And we took in hundreds of millions of dollars into NATO.
It's a lot of money.
NATO's a good thing if it's done properly and if it's used properly. Can you talk up a little louder? Can you talk a little louder? You have a beautiful voice, but you're not. Where are you from? From Italy. Oh, I love Italy. Go ahead. Well, look, I love Italy, and Italy is a very important nation. We have a wonderful woman as your leader, and she was on the conversation today, one that we had, as you said.
Yeah.
No, I think Italy's doing very
Yeah.
well. I think Italy's got very strong leadership with Georgia. Any other questions over here? Yes, ma'am.
Did he just do what I think he did? He's like, I don't know what the fuck. What else is there? Oh my god. This is insane.
With respect to what, Russia? Yeah, we're trying to...
Die, stop!
They have a lot of things that we want, and we'll see. I mean, I don't know if that will happen.
I don't know what the fuck. Who else is there? God. This is insane.
Back to what, Russia?
Inhuman beast.
Yeah, we're trying to do some economic
the
development.
dono?
They have a lot of things that we want.
Didn't break a sweat.
Translator speaking
We'd love
back.
to be able to do that.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know, they have massive rare earths, very large. It's actually the largest in terms
There is power in this
by
water.
far the largest.
I can
country.
feel
It's pretty
it.
big.
And they have very
Huge.
valuable things that we can use to do that things that they can do. Very good. If we could do that, I think it would be a very good piece of world, peace and lasting peace.
We're gonna get all the shiny rocks.
Our first, by far, our
Every
first
single
thing
one.
we want to do, the first element of the overall transaction is ending the war. But if we could do some economic development in terms of Russia and getting things that we want, something like that would be possible.
Oh.
I would rather not explain it now, but it's sort of self-evident, I think.
The President first talked about increasing the tariffs on products from the European Union. Is that still something we do today?
Well, it's not, so whatever they charge us.
Who is this?
So it's not a question of.
Dude, I don't know who these
They
mic
charge
guys
us
are.
20%,
Yeah.
we charge them 20%. They charge us 30 or 40%, and then depending on the European Union, but that really would be like that. It wouldn't be the process. So reciprocal. Whatever they charge us, we charge them. Nobody has a problem. Even you as the union.
Mr. President, are you thinking of going to Moscow soon?
Soon, but I would be certainly, if this all gets
What's
settled
this
out,
meeting?
which I think it will.
France is gonna be a state.
And you can come here too.
On the 9th of May on the railway?
I don't know the 9th of May, no, I think that's pretty soon.
Yeah.
But no, at the appropriate time, I would go to Moscow.
Monsieur le Président, est-ce que l'envoi de troupes françaises
I
ou
think
européennes serait déjà fait?
we can meet.
Bro, it's like if somebody's talking in French, it's like it. What the fuck? Like who? What do you say? Just what the fuck is this?
Dad, take you.
Within weeks, if we're smart. If we're not smart, it'll keep going and we'll keep losing young, beautiful people that shouldn't be dying. And we don't want that. And remember what I said, this could escalate into a third world war. And we don't want that either. At some point we'll agree to that. I think that's probably I think once you have a ceasefire, because they're not going from the ceasefire back to war. I think people have had.
Well-
I'm just glad I was able to help because there was no communication. Until I came along, Biden didn't communicate. He couldn't communicate. So Biden didn't communicate. He couldn't. It was terrible. He hadn't spoken to Putin for 3 years. They're trying to end the war. People are being killed. Every week, thousands of people are being killed. Soldiers, in this case, mostly. Also towns, you know, as missiles go in and back and forth. No.
Dude,
Bye. Move.
This should have gone down in the history of the very sad moment. Because that should have been stopped. It never started, and
man,
if it did start, it should have stopped the first week, not 3 years later.
what is he looking at?
Juste, je pense que plusieurs questions de votre collègue qui ont été posées en français qui rejoignent les questions posées par
Ah,
les
jeez,
collègues
here he
américains.
goes again.
D'abord, cette discussion est
The
utile
fuck?
et sur la paix est une nécessité.
What is he
La
saying?
deuxième chose, c'est qu'il y a aujourd'hui une capacité de dissuasion qui est restaurée.
The fuck is
Et
this?
que c'est ce que veut dire le président Trump quand il dit qu'il n'y aura plus de problème. Je
Yeah,
pense que la force du réengagement américain aujourd'hui,
speak American.
il y le président Poutine. Et donc il y a une capacité de dissuasion qui est là, qui permet de sceller d'abord sans doute une trêve, la capacité à vérifier que cette trêve est respectée.
Why change the
Un accord
audio
de
to
paix
Baguette?
qui permettra de reconstruire l'Ukraine
I'm
et puis apporter
trying,
aussi
guys.
des garanties de sécurité. Dans le cadre de ces garanties de sécurité, nous pensons que nous avons
Yeah.
notre rôle à jouer. Et donc, on verra à ce moment-là de la discussion, je ne veux pas l'appréhender, ce qui est nécessaire pour que l'Ukraine puisse rester un pays souverain. Et d'ailleurs, dans les discussions entre
This stuff is awful.
l'Ukraine et les États-Unis d'Amérique, il y a cette question d'une souveraineté ukrainienne qui est respectée.
I'm starting to
Et
think
donc,
he's not speaking
nous avons
English.
préparé en particulier avec nos partenaires britanniques dans le cadre d'un travail très étroit qu'on a mené ces dernières semaines et partagé avec tous les pays européens
Yeah, I don't think this
et
is
alliés qui sont
English.
prêts à s'y joindre.
I'll tell you
On
that.
est prêt à apporter ces garanties de sécurité. Les conditions, elles doivent en être définies.
l'envoi de troupes.
Elles doivent être définies par l'accord. Ça peut aller jusqu'à l'envoi, comme l'a dit le président, de troupes qui iront observer que la paix est bien respectée, qui iront se positionner, pas sur la ligne de front, pas pour justement, en quelque sorte, être dans le conflit, mais marquer une présence comme une garantie. Il y a d'autres moyens de soutenir qui peuvent être des soutiens accrus et capacitaires à l'armée, des structures ouvertes. L'accord qui est discuté, le président l'a dit, la crédibilité américaine qui est mise dans ce moment, c'est aussi montrer que chacun est dans son rôle et que nous avons une unité européenne et américaine. Donc avec une
Well, I think that's just about the whole thing, isn't it? Oh my god. Wow. They're really having a good time, aren't they?
Didn't break a
That's
sweat.
really something special. Oh boy. Wow. I just can't believe it. Yeah. After the answer to the whole question,
Need
at first
mana.
he's like, damn. That sounded pretty cool. What the fuck did he mean? The fuck is that?
Not yet.
And that was it. Oh my god, the content president. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Oh wow. And yeah, I don't know what to say. RPG, number one comment on this. Speaking French, number 3. About World War 3. Well, he's got 5 fingers.
Out of
And 2
mana.
bonus ones, right? Biden can't communicate with his own child. I didn't expect that one to go through. I don't think anybody predicted that. Oh man, and they're gonna have another one of these later on today? Oh boy. Wow, what a day. What a fucking day. Okay, well, you know, we'll see what happens, right? It's probably not gonna be for a while. But yeah, that's it. I'll leave it open for now and USPS workers protest government privatization of post office. Well, we'll close that. Who gives a shit? Anyway, let's see here. Trump bingo. Well, if he does a big speech, I'll do another bingo, right? But it can't be with him with somebody else. It's got to be him solo speaking, right? That way, you know, you go into, you know, all of the important things, right? I want to do a Trump bingo where we get a full blackout, right? Like, that's it. And yeah, maybe USPS was reliable. I would give a shit. I think USPS does a great job, and I don't think that they should try to operate to make a profit. They're a public service. I mean, my personal opinion is I've never had any problems with the mail before. I mean, I'm sure some people have, but I think that in a lot of cases it runs pretty well. And, you know, there's always things that you can improve, things that you can make better. But, you know, I don't think they should shut down the USPS. That's crazy. So, yeah, that's how I see it. Mail is out, yeah. But, of course, they can do things better, and I think that's fine. It's okay to ask those questions, man. And so it's about profits, about running within budget. Well, sometimes the budget is wrong, and sometimes the decisions are wrong. And you've got to figure that out. I mean, sometimes it's a little bit of both. Fuck. I don't know what to say. So that's really where I'm at. That's what I think. And, yeah, the fires were arbitrary and bullshit. Well, I don't know. But anyway, let's go back over here. We'll look at a few of these and get into it before, obviously, this will probably continue later on, but we'll wait for that. Anyway, due to increases in MAGA spreading misinformation and hate, all MAGA users will be banned. And this is from Springfield IL. Is this right? Let me see here. So this is a mass ban, and you can't make any comments, and a lot of the comments that did exist were deleted. Right, okay. So basically,
Local.
it's crazy that it seems like everybody agrees with this. What a shock. So basically this is a, let's see here, I'll look at the rest of it. I tried so hard, but in the end, they're all gonna get banned. To stay unbiased, the MAGA people who aren't even part of our community are rage posting their garbage and anti-democracy crap all over the sub. Not only our sub, but they're doing it all over Reddit cities. Reddit city subs? Oh, I've been in contact with many mods from other city subs experiencing this. Every time I look into a MAGA poster, I see their histories that they're posting on multiple city subs. Going forward, anyone who posted hate speech, anti-democracy rhetoric, or just plain old pro-King Trump will be banned and removed. For those who want to bitch and complain, well, you are the minority. Well, didn't we have an election that kind of... I mean, I don't know, because whenever I check, that's not what the election says. But hey, guys, I don't want to question this because that would be anti-democracy. I will not cater to you. You are not American. You don't get American rights.
Not today.
You know this is the kind of person that would say that if you said this to an illegal immigrant, this is the exact kind of person that would call you racist. But now they're gonna say this. They're wild as fuck, yes. So, oh my God. So basically, anti-democracy rhetoric, you don't get American rights. Now, I'm not a constitutional lawyer, but I've looked at the Constitution a few times. And I think that we might have a little bit of a discrepancy here. Am I crazy? I think we're catching a little bit of inconsistency here on the Reddit post. Just a little one, just a little one, right? And so anyway, this is not legal. Trust me, it is legal. It's legal. It's Reddit. Like, it's not gonna go to jail for this. It's a fucking retard. You don't support the Constitution, so in following in your beliefs, you won't be given any liberties by me. That's interesting because people that don't support the Constitution can still be Americans. That's what it means to have freedom of speech. But of course, obviously, that doesn't make sense to people who disagree with it. And so I don't know what to say. Reddit needs to lose its protected status. What's it protected from? Yeah, wow, this is crazy. And I don't know what to say. You don't get the right to spread misinformation. Wait, so this person says you don't support the Constitution, you don't get the right to spread information. You do. You do not get the right to promote lies? Yeah, you do. Yeah, unless it's defamation, you do. Yeah, that's... It's not against the Constitution. What? This is the craziest crash out I've ever heard. Okay. To clarify, Republicans are not banned. Republicans and conservatives are well within the population. These bans typically targeting the anti-American group MAGA. Okay, report all MAGA comments. What MAGA stands for? Promotion of conspiracy.
Victory is mine.
You mean like the conspiracy that all these people are infiltrating the subreddit? Creation of conspiracy theories. Well, we've never seen that before. And blatant lies about Trump and Elon's actions. You're the minority. Okay, there's another one. Blatant lies about how the media is all out to get Trump and Musk. Of course that's not true. It seems like it. Inciting hate or violence against specific groups. I will not cater you, you're not American. It's crazy how... This is really impressive. Targeting brown-skinned immigrants respectively. Yeah, but what happens is... So let me get this straight. If you're targeting them... Why especially the brown-skinned ones? This is a troll post? No. It's a retard post that should be a troll post. This should be a troll post, but it's not. Let's see here. We'll take a
A
look at the
rare
rest of this.
treasure.
They're deciding on who's American, supporting who, promoting the Gulf of Mexico chain. Petty bullshit. Well, if it's such a petty bullshit, then why are you going to ban people over it? Uh-oh. Seems like it's not so petty after all, is it? Uh-oh. Oh, what a retard. Anyway, spreading lies that Ukraine attacked Russia. Spreading lies, but that's in the Constitution. That you can say that, you can absolutely say that. Spreading lies about fraud everywhere in our government departments. Bullying people who are protesting, promotion of corruption, promotion of invading our allying nation, worship of billionaires who don't give two shits about them. Oh my God. This is a legendary level crash out. It really is. Oh my God. Where do these people come from? Gulf of America is pretty stupid. Oh, I would agree with you if these people didn't spend tons of time, you know, taking down Confederate statues, getting rid of old names. These are the people that were trying to push for that girl to not be in the Land of Lakes butter thing, changing the Aunt Jemima fucking syrup. No, no, if you want to go and act like and make this appeal to triviality, I've just spent fucking 5 years watching triviality be the norm. And so now this gets changed and suddenly it's ridiculous. I don't fucking think so. It's ridiculous. Rainbow Streets, yeah. No, if they want to rename it, they can rename it. Gulf of Mexico is pretty stupid too. The entire thing is stupid. But it's stupid to care about it either way. Like, I mean, I don't have a strong opinion about it. If they want to rename it, they can rename it. That's fine. I don't really care. But, like, don't go and act like it's not a big deal. It's obviously a big deal. That's why they're upset. If it wasn't a big deal, you wouldn't be that mad about it being renamed. So that's what I would say. And you know what's funny is that this is on YouTube. A whole bunch of people posting, and they basically will not get censored. It's so freaking hilarious. Well, the funny thing about this is that, and you can tell, right? This is what happens in, like, one of these communities. Is that in a lot of these posts, they just delete all of the posts that are disagreeing with them, right? And so that's really the solution that Reddit has for everything. And this is why Reddit is so radicalized. It's because the people that are on this platform ban anybody who disagree with them. And this is why you see these super extreme opinions on Reddit, is because every single subreddit does this, and the ones that don't get spam reported until they get banned. So what you have is a small subset of people that are effectively controlling the entire dialogue on the website, and they're doing it through forced censorship, right? It's not like these people are congregating here and just pushing out people that they don't like. No, they're actively banning and removing posts that are disagreeable to them. And so that's basically at both sides, though, no? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the rules on Truth Social are, for example. But I know that on Twitter, you don't really get banned for posting liberal rhetoric. I see it every day. And so the problem is that it's a one-sided argument. Social engineering, they're trying to punish people for dissent. Of course they are. Yeah, do you think there needs to be an intervention? I think that Reddit probably should do some form of intervention with this at some point, because I think that this is going to just further radicalize, and eventually it will cause them to lose members, because you're going to have people that are part of every single subreddit moderation team that are all using their platform in order to push some sort of agenda or viewpoint or worldview. And I think when that happens, it's going to alienate a lot of people. So it's getting out of control. Yeah, exactly, right? Reddit will face long-term consequences if they continue this. Yeah, they will. And eventually somebody will make another platform, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to be moderated and be told what to do by people who write manifestos like this that are contradictory to their own. Like, you make a list of things that you're not supposed to do, and then in your paragraph you do half of the things that you say you're not supposed to do. And so, like, this is the problem, and I think a lot of people see that. It's very annoying to them, right? It's a mod manifesto. It is. That's exactly what it is. And so that's how I see it. And the guy's not just a retard, he's a special retard. Well, he's a moderator, and so yeah, he is. But I already see it in 4 years. Everyone I talk to has the same opinion of me. How did Vance win? Surprise Pikachu. Same thing happened last year. Yeah, these people block out anybody they disagree with, and then they get surprised when they lose. One of the rules is no witch hunting proceeds to hunt for witches. Yeah, I guess so. And I bet that meanwhile, literally any and all misinfo from the left is fine according to them. Yeah, that's why you can't have rules against misinformation. It's because people think that misinformation is a million different things. That's the issue. And double standards gone out of hand? Yes, absolutely, I think so. But Reddit has become it's become extremely radicalized. And I think that the internet is in dire need of another platform that is moderated with an even hand, that doesn't give away like its moderation privileges, especially to like I think that it's okay for subreddits that are like inherently political to have rules about this, but when you're ruling every subreddit with like this political narrative stuff and people aren't allowed to question it, I think you are going to alienate a lot of people. And the other issue too is that while this is a Western platform and Western people generally use it, there are other people that are not from the West that use this as well. So when you have a certain small subset of people from one culture that are trying to basically make the entire website conform to that culture, you're going to have a massive fall off of the people that are from other cultures, right? Because they're not going to want to look at it. And so how's Reddit stock doing? I think it's still doing quite well. So they haven't really seen, they haven't really seen this go down a whole lot. I mean, in the last 6 months, like, they've gone up massively. And so, I think if they go back down to this point, you know, you could maybe see some changes. But right now, I mean, you've seen Reddit that's, you know, they're doing pretty well, right, overall in the stock market. So you'd have to see. And it's a huge problem, and I think it will just keep getting worse. But yeah, this is basically what I think is going to continue happening. And at some point it will get too bad, and then it will alienate so many people if Reddit stops. Yeah, Reddit's a publicly traded company, so of course they would stop for it, absolutely. So yeah, anyway, let's see here. What do you think? The plant I've worked at all my life is shut down and my hometown is dying. Lamal learned the code. No, AI just replaced my programming job. Lamal learned to weld. Yeah, I don't think that this irony is lost on anyone. I'm going to be honest. I think that a lot of people see this and they find it to be fucking hilarious. This is absolutely true. Because, yeah, no, it is. And nobody's saying, no, they're not. But I did think that because I remember this like patronizing, condescending viewpoint of like all these blue-collar workers getting their jobs replaced by automation, and you had people in tech and graphic design and people like talking about that, and now they're getting their job replaced by AI. And I do think that it is it's a very delicious bit of irony. I find it to be very funny. So yeah, coders are the most safe. Well, I think that in most cases, AI isn't going to replace jobs. It will just make it to where one person can do two people's job, right? It's going to be able to fill in the gaps and make people more efficient. So there are going to be like there's going to be like a reduction in workforce, but it's not like it's going to go from like 10 people to 2 to 5 people, right? That's what I was kind of expecting.
Victory is mine.
Wrong, but that's usually what I would see. But yeah. We're going to get rid of the worst 50 to 80%? Yeah, of course. And that's what we're going to say. But, yeah, I think that this is very ironic, and that's exactly what's happening. And it's the same thing, like, programming is actually much more safe than things like graphic design. Like, whenever I was in high school, graphic design, like, you know, I first started college, graphic design was like that cool, like, you know, hip new thing that people were doing. And then after that, people just immediately, like, everybody was getting into graphic design. Or I'm just going to you know, brands and get paid over $100,000 a year. Now, like, apparently all of those people are losing their jobs to AI because they're just having AI do it themselves. So, yeah, it's that simple. AI is bad at creative. AI is bad at creative, maybe you're right. Yeah, but here's you want to know what the real black pill is? The real black pill is that so are people. Most people are bad at being creative as well. Look at Hollywood movies. Like, I mean, this isn't done by AI, but why the fuck is every single one of them Spider-Man? So you really ask yourself, oh, AI isn't creative. Yeah, well, neither is the market in general in a lot of cases. So I wouldn't really get too excited about that, okay? But anyway, let's look at a few more of these. And so the prophecy is true. Life is funny. After donating 4K, being a tier 3 sub, I get banned from her channel and subreddit. A simp lord. It is so sad that people do this. It is. And also, by the way, donating money to a streamer doesn't mean that you are entitled to any form of special treatment. And that's one of the reasons why, by the way, I don't really take donations. I know it might sound crazy, but like, whenever people give you money, they're usually not giving you money. They're paying for something, but they might not. But you might not know what they think that they're paying for. And it creates a dynamic that I think is unhealthy and weird. And so that's why I kind of have a very, you know, a very like disconnected, like people can like switch Prime sub, and I guess people can get subs now. But for the most part, I don't spend any time thinking about that sub or allowing people to like effectively give me a bunch of money. Because I think when you let people do that, it gives them this idea that they have a level of control over you that's unhealthy. And so, yeah, I think that you played yourself there. It's that simple. You are all bits. Why not bits and not period? Because it's just included in the Twitch partner thing. It's hard to separate the two things. It's like if I wanted to have a higher bit rate and I wanted people to be able to like sub to avoid ads, which I guess aren't really as much of a problem anymore. But if I wanted to do that, I would have to have bits. That's the reason why. So it's that simple, and it's just part of the system. But yeah, I could have just had OnlyFans, and he could have gotten more for his money. I think so.
Do you actually work for ICE?
No. Okay.
Explain the outfit.
I would recommend buying a small if you're my size. It's going to go to a boost. But yeah, if you want to go in a sanctuary city like where I live right now, Washington D.C. and you'll see all the illegals, not all of them, but you can maybe see a lot of them start to run away, and you feel like a group fitness instructor. It's really good.
You actually think that's funny?
I think it's hilarious, absolutely. What's not funny is them.
There you have it, everybody. One of the worst people I've seen here. Well, thanks, appreciate it.
I wonder if that works. Yeah, I don't know, and there you have it. Yeah, I guess so. And S tier troll, I don't know what to say, man. The mic cut? Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's so ridiculous. It's a group fitness instructor. Yeah, I guess so, right? And yeah, I have to make a fucking asshole. I guess so, right? And is this impersonating authority? I don't know. I mean, unless you're trying to make an arrest, I don't really think it's that big of a deal. But yeah, there you go. Impersonating officers, epic poggers. Well, you can dress up as a police officer. You just can't arrest people. I mean, that's why you have, like, there's police officer outfits that you can get for Halloween, same as firefighters, etc. Like, you can dress up as somebody like that. You just can't operate as an officer. It's a very big difference, right? And so, yeah, for the bedroom, yeah, there is. Is an impersonation a crime? Let me see here. Can you wear a let me see, firefighter outfit if you're not a firefighter? There's no AI search for it. I'd have to go and look and see. Yeah, it's very hard to say. And it's impersonation. Yeah, it's jail for LARPing. Exactly. Slay dress up. I don't really, yeah, just don't identify as one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you're wearing a shirt that says ICE on it, like, I can't imagine this guy's gonna end up going to jail because he's wearing the shirt. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really see that happening. It seems ridiculous, right? And so, and also, like, that would be a ridiculous thing even to do. And I doubt it's illegal. Of course not. Yeah, who actually cares? Well, this guy cares. He's very upset. But yeah, overall, that's how I see it. Yeah, it's dumb. Yeah, it's not dumb. Yeah, he's not saying he's ICE. Exactly. Impersonation is not just dressing up as somebody. It's trying to actively be them. And so what is this here? Probably the biggest reasons why Americans are being so more isolationist. If you ever feel useless, just remember that the USA took 4 presidents, thousands of lives, trillions of dollars, and 20 years to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Man. Man. How about that? That's crazy. And official badge is what's important. I'm in the movie business. Actors wearing officers' clothes keep the clothes on, but have to remove badges and patches when we cut. Yeah, okay, that makes sense then. And it looks like he doesn't have a badge or anything like that, so there seems like there's nothing that's going wrong. And if you're buying it on Amazon or something like that, the odds are it's probably not illegal. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, El Taliban, I guess so, but I don't know when this happened, though. You would just take a moment to appreciate how his comic manages to perfectly encapsulate the state of modern politics. Both sides make some good points. You all right? Why are you siding with the bad guys? I think this is probably true in a lot of cases. Like, this is kind of like one of those meme comics that a lot of people use. And so, like, I think people do oversimplify. But in a lot of cases, I think this actually is accurate. It's where people see this and they're like, you know what? Like, these people are, like, really aggressive. They're angry. And people just don't want to deal with it for whatever reason. So, yeah. But they're not the same Taliban. I thought I said talisman. Sons of merged generations that were there before, so they're going to be more angry. Oh, I'm pretty sure that they are. But, yeah, that's how I abandoned LGBT communities. I think that there is definitely, like, I think it's like the first post that we saw on the subreddit today, right? It's like when you become increasingly more and more radical, at a certain point, you end up alienating reasonable people. And I think that a certain type of radical behavior actually pushes people to the other side because they don't like the fact that people do it in like a bullying way. Like, I think average people don't like seeing other people get bullied around and pushed around and like the aggressiveness of it. And so when they see that, it makes them uncomfortable and they end up being just like almost naturally oppositional to it. And that's what I think you see happen a lot nowadays. Like, you see someone get fired or, you know, like saying something the wrong way or having an opinion that's not the right opinion. You know, and this person gets their life ruined over it. And I think that to a certain extent, people are kind of tired of seeing that happen in just a general case. Now your viewers would be leftist as fuck. Well, I don't know. I think it really depends on what it is. It's sadistic behavior. I think that it's just people that want to punish other people for having different viewpoints. That's really it. Turns out that pushing moderates away hurts your political power and image. See, this is one of the big things is that, like, I think that there were a lot of people who were like me, who were, like, very much, and I'm still like this, like, I'm very much kind of, like, middle of the road or whatever, but I get way more hate from left-wing people for, you know, like, having one opinion than I do for right-wing people for having one opinion. Like, for example, like, I said before that, like, I think they should just deport every illegal alien, deport every single one of them, right? I've also said that I think that you should be able to get an abortion whenever you want with no restrictions. Guess which one of those two opinions got me 100 times more hate? And there it is.
I have no space for
again,
that.
I'm just like, this isn't a debate. Like, I'm not trying to, like, bring these points up so I can fight with them or whatever. But the point that I'm making is that the way that the left, I think in a lot of cases, responds to any sort of, like, different viewpoint is so vitriolic and angry that it ends up alienating average people. And that's what happens when I'm pushing like conservatives, right? Yeah, like, I view myself kind of as a centrist in a lot of cases. People always think that's a bad thing. Like, oh, well, you're being a centrist. Well, like, you know, you're, like, siding with, like, bigotry or misogyny. There's bigotry and misogyny on both sides. And it happens all the time. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Well, not everybody's going to see eye to eye with things. But there's one side of... that will... One side of people will not agree with you. The other side of people will actively try to destroy your life. And I think that's why more and more people, and like for a long time, it worked, right? It worked for a very, very long time. Because if I say, like, let's see, here, like, there's a number of, like, left-wing opinions that I have, right? Like, I think universal basic income, fucking, what do you call it? What was I saying just a minute ago? Abortion. I think contraception's fine. I'm a big fan of, like, entitlement programs, like food stamps, etc. I don't think they should cut junk food out of food stamps. Let me think. What else besides that? Oh, yeah, I believe in climate change. And so, like, let me think. Is there... Yeah, universal health care. I think you should have that. I don't know. Basically, I agree with Luigi on everything except for killing the guy. And so, like, these are all left-wing opinions that I have, right? But I get, like, 1% of the hate that I get for having any right-wing opinion. And I think that average people see that, and they see that there's this obvious, massive emotional disparity of how people get treated, and it alienates them away from those groups. That's what happens. Doing gold mine of wild takes. Check out Sharon Bonta. I don't know what that is at all. But yeah, I don't even know what that is. It's no secret. That person feels to know. So I think there is more of that over there too. What are your right-wing opinions? Well, I was saying before about, like, you know, I'm very strong, like, Second Amendment supporter. Same with First Amendment supporter. I think that we should not have any illegal immigrants. Let me think. Like, that's just a handful of them right there. I think we could start with that. Yeah, smaller government. I'm a traditional family values kind of guy for sure. But let's see, what else besides that? Crime bad? Yeah, definitely. And First Amendment isn't right wing. It is though, because so like whenever I defend a person, so like there's a lot of people that want to see a person deplatformed or taken off the platform because they say something that could be considered as hate speech, right? It's like, well, you're criticizing this group of people, or you're saying this group of people shouldn't be treated this way or should be treated this way. And this is something that, you know, like is problematic. So now you need to get silenced, right? You need to get banned. I don't support that in a general sense, right? And when I do, and when I say that, a lot of people get mad at me and they say that that's a right-wing opinion. So I actually do think that freedom of speech is fundamentally a right-wing opinion, because all of the forms of freedom of speech that are under attack are things that are under attack from left-wing people. In, like, I mean, not every single one, right? But like in a general sense, I think that's definitely true. Yeah, against affirmative action, that's another one. Yeah, there you go. But if you're still a Demi, to wake up. Well, people can vote for whoever they want. But what I'm saying is that it's undeniable that one side pushes away moderates at a much higher ratio than the other one does. And I think that's why you're seeing so many people that are more okay with right-wing stuff and right-wing politics now. And it's because people are just tired, fundamentally, of being pushed around. Nobody wants to get pushed around. And so that's really what's happened. And just look at Blue Sky and Reddit. Yeah, exactly. The left doesn't even pretend anymore to value free speech. Well, they do when they want to make threats about killing Elon Musk. That's the only time that they want to talk about freedom of speech, is whenever they want to advocate for and make threats of killing people. I've already seen this before. Today in Lord Manhattan. Oh, wow, wow. Let's look at the comments on this one. Oh, here we go. This is the revolution, gentlemen. What's this here? No illegals is a bit extreme. You kick them all out. Who does the job citizens don't want, which drives up prices? Yeah, people made the same argument during slavery. I just don't think it's a very good one. Like, I see what you're saying, sure, but I just don't think that we should I don't think that we should necromancer arguments from slavery and then use them for keeping an underclass of people now. I'm just, yeah, I don't think so. I think it's a bad idea. And anyway, let's see here. And I've been waiting to see this exact photo. It took longer than expected. Swastikar. Siri, what chemical can cause damage to stainless steel? Oven cleaner. If you support a Nazi, you risk being labeled one yourself. If you don't want to be harassed, try dressing a little bit more modestly, right, conservatives? Oh my god. Man. Someone in another thread called it Roman Rust that won it for me, and there's this ass clown roll around and shit. I was wondering when I was starting to see this. Good fuck Nazis. Man. Hey Google, the Cybertrucks have security cameras. Yes, the Tesla Cybertruck has multiple cameras for security and safety. Yes. The Cybertruck's cameras can monitor the surrounding areas, detect obstacles, and record suspicious activity. Security camera sentry mode. When enabled, the Cybertruck's cameras record suspicious activity when the vehicle is labeled locked and in park. Security system activates when Cybertruck doesn't detect an authenticated phone or key, or when a locked door, tailgate, or trunk is opened. The Cybertruck's dash cam can save video recordings to USB flash drive. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This isn't looking good at all. Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. And this does nothing to Elon. The car did nothing. If you want to protest, do it better. It stops people from buying a dog shit car made by Nazis. I don't understand how you can say this but not be against, like, I mean, Volkswagen was started by Nazis and Henry Ford supported the Nazis. So how is it that Cybertrucks are getting this painted on it but not the other cars like that? It doesn't make any sense. And it's completely irrational. And this is the thing, right? This is the way Reddit is. Hugo Boss as well? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who made those Nazi uniforms? And yeah, it's just crazy. But anyway, so yeah, Germany's Glabern. Anyway, Hitler founded VW. I don't know about that specifically, but anyway, I don't know why. Sorry, that was me, not you. I don't know why some of these Redditors are just so hell-bent on being revolutionaries. It's actually crazy how big this is. Because you know what would be really, really fucking funny? Is if this was done in a place like Germany, and then this person gets sent to jail for hate speech laws for making a swastika. Like, that to me would be like fucking poetic justice. Now, that probably isn't what's going to happen, right? But if this does happen somewhere in not America, they do have a lot of anti-hate speech laws, and it would be fucking hilarious if that happened. So yeah, they roleplay being revolutionaries. No, I think if somebody does this, they should just, you know, it's vandalism, right? And you can't just go and spray paint things on things that you don't like, especially other people's property. It's crazy that anybody would even be in remote support of this. But again, you know, whenever this happens, the problem is that these people, this is what the issue is that these people set the tone for what the other side will do to them. And so in the same way that, you know how like the pendulum has swung back a lot with cancel culture, and how like video game developers and like, you know, there's like one person that's like a video game dev and they say one thing that's like kind of a little bit like super liberal, and they have like everybody in the community like hating on them and attacking them. Well, like when you do that for years, what you do is you send a message that that's the type of communication that works, right? And so people on the other side will one-up this in the same way that they have with a bunch of other things already. And then after that, you're going to be in a really bad position. The people drawing swastikas are the bad guys? Yeah, I don't even understand how you can do this and think that you're the good guy. But on Reddit, I think it's pretty easy. Japanese view on political divide. I've seen this before. This is pretty funny. But yeah, there it is. They're all revolutionaries because we live in a peaceful time where no one shoots back at them. Yeah, exactly. And I think that a lot of it is that people that live boring lives in first world countries that are looking for problems because they feel guilty for how easy their life is, or they're bored because they have no existential like purpose in life. And so like they're looking for some sort of cause, some cross to nail themselves up on so they can be a victim, basically, right? I think that's what it usually is for a lot of these people. They have no purpose. Yeah, exactly. No purpose, nothing like that. What about Luigi then? I mean, I don't really think Luigi did a whole lot, honestly. I mean, if you want me to be totally real, like, it's not like it really made a big difference. It's not like healthcare is being changed. It didn't really shift the conversation. If anything, all it did really is that, because if you look at Luigi, like, there were a lot of young people that supported Luigi. That's true. But young people are not the majority of the population. And I think that as people grow older, they will begin to get more conservative. This is generally the trend, right? Now, maybe it'll change one day, but right now, this is generally the trend. So you can expect to see this change. And anyway, this happening, I think that it did send a message that the types of people that are against healthcare and that are for, like, these types of policies are radical and violent people. And I think that average Americans, and again, you can look at the polls that indicate this, average Americans find that very distasteful, and it makes them uncomfortable and scared. Because the problem is that when you allow a person to, if somebody goes and kills somebody else, right, that's not self-defense, and you try to say that, hey, a lot of other people, what they do is they personalize that and they think to themselves, well, how could somebody find a justification for me? It's scary for them. So I think that's really what happens for a lot of them.
Mana.
Yeah, I mean, they just replace the CEO of United Healthcare. Everything is continuing on as normal. If anything, the prices go up now because they've got to pay more money for security for some of their executives. So really nothing happened. It didn't make any change. And so, like, if you really want to make change in the system, the reason why people like Martin Luther King and Gandhi are viewed as these like generational, people that change the world is because they changed it through peace, they changed it through, basically a message, right? They didn't change it through violence. They didn't change it through killing a bunch of people or anything like that. And that's how you change people's opinions. That's what happens. Yeah, persuasion instead of force. Yeah, exactly. And Civil War ended slavery. It did, absolutely. Yes, and sometimes violence is necessary, but you're talking about like a nation war with each other, a nation war within itself, really, and you're comparing that to shooting a person in the back, like one random person in the back. They're just really not comparable. And it's the same thing, like, and if you really want to draw the correlation to slavery, somebody assassinated Abraham Lincoln. Did that bring slavery back? No, it didn't. So just killing one random person really never does anything. And I think that if anything, it ends up creating the opposite effect. It never stopped? Yeah, exactly. It's not real. And anyway, when somebody says I hate Nazis, I think to myself, yeah, World War II sucks, but never mind Nazis, anyone disagrees with them. Yeah, I think that's true. I wonder if this falls back to whenever people were being called communists for the same reason. It's an interesting viewpoint that like now we like have like a new version of McCarthyism, but it's like Nazism effectively, where like people are like calling anybody they disagree with this like crazy word, and people are trying so hard to not be labeled like this. I don't think that it's really working in the same way that it did back then, at least from my, like my understanding of history. But in a general sense, I think it's definitely true. Yeah, it's 100% true, I would say. Horseshoe theory? Yeah. So you're saying we should off all the executives? No, I don't think that, like, so if you go and you kill all the executives of these companies, they're just going to get replaced with new executives the day after that and better security. And also, if you keep doing this to people, like, this is the problem, right? Is that a lot of people misunderstand their position in society. So these executives and these people that are in positions of power, they have all of the power. They have all of the money, they have access to resources, and they have access to government, which gives them the access to threat of freedom. And so these people, if you attack them, they can attack you back. And they can do it preemptively in a way that you can't. So if you start seeing a lot more people that are like going and doing Luigi activities, let's say, right? What you're going to see happen in response to that, it's not like, okay, well, all we need to do is just keep killing CEOs and then eventually they're going to do our policies, right? No, that's not what's going to happen. If you keep killing CEOs, what's going to end up happening is that you're going to have a much higher surveillance state. You're going to have the FBI hire way more people to watch this stuff ahead of time. You're going to have more government surveillance. You're going to have more people getting arrested. And then you're going to have more restrictions on your freedom. Because why would the people in power let themselves get killed? Really, think about it. Why would they want themselves to be killed? And then also, there's a lot of average people that don't want to live in a world where this is what's happening. So, no, that's not it. And I don't know what to say, but I don't see how people can't see that obvious conclusion. It does the opposite of what they want. So yeah, I think, yeah, if somebody ever kills Trump or shoots Trump, it's going to make Trump a martyr, and then you're basically going to guarantee the next 15 years of solid Trump policy. Because every single person who is on his side will now be like religiously on his side, and also people that are in the middle will view the people who are against it as violent extremists and terrorists. Yeah, nah. I mean, I think that there's a lot of examples of somebody being made a martyr, right? Especially politically, right? I think it definitely happens. It's like the towers, yeah, but he's just going to get replaced with somebody else. And the problem really is that it's the message that you need to defeat. It's not the person, and this is the problem. If you beat the person, it doesn't matter. You have to beat the message. And if you beat the message, then you win. If you beat the person, another person replaces them with the same message. That's it. And so yeah, power to beat it. Yeah. It's that simple. But when they killed Caesar, suddenly did not start to hate him, or Republic suddenly got saved. I don't remember exactly about that, but yeah. And anyway, so you're saying the smart move is to martyr your own side, like some kind of sophisticated psyop? Well, maybe, right? And which moment in Roman history was first directly contributed to the empire's ultimate collapse? Submission removed because it involves current politics. Is that true? I wonder why. Generational leaps when I was a kid compared to now.
Yes.
Guys. Oh my God, this is so true. We've basically reached, like, we've hit the plateau with graphics, guys. We've hit the plateau. We don't need, like, I can't even tell the difference between the two of these. Like, yeah, maybe this one's slightly better. There's a little bit less anti-aliasing, but if you told me these pictures were copy-pasted and, like, maybe this one was filtered a little bit differently, I'd instantly fucking believe it, man. So, blur versus no blur. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't imagine getting into this kind of stuff, man. I have no idea. Yeah, colors are better, but it doesn't matter. Dude, see, this, like, this comparison to me is, like, crazy.
Indeed.
Because this was my life.
Hello.
It was Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, which this is Link to the Past. And this is like, let me think, where is this in the game? This is in, like, if you go over this way, then you go into the tomb that you escape from the tower with. And this is where, if you go over to the other side, it's where the forest is as well, I believe. And, yeah, it might not be, but yeah, it's a graveyard. Yeah, exactly, Hyrule Field. Well, I don't know about the name. I'm talking about this with Link to the Past. Ocarina of Time, I played Ocarina of Time one time. I beat it. I remember so fucking clearly 5th grade playing this game, my mom letting me stay up late at night because we were on the last tower, we were at Ganon's castle, and it was the day that we were going to beat the game. And I remember I went to bed, and I did. I beat the game that night with my mom. It was fucking insane. Yeah, I was in 5th grade. And I remember I remember, like, in Super Mario World, like, my mom and I were trying to beat Bowser and we couldn't do it. And, like, I'll be honest, like, she was, like, not very good at video games. Like, she was really good at, like, strategically planning in video games, right? But she was really bad at actually playing them. Like, I have this... I recorded footage of her playing games, and she's so fucking bad. So fucking bad. I've got to post it. I remember I posted one video of it on, like, MySpace or something, and, like, we would laugh at it, right? Because she's so bad. But she would get pissed off. Please post? Yeah. Anyway, and yeah, oh, it's me. No, it's not. She'd be laughing at it. Don't worry about it. I used to, and this is one thing, some people think that, like, making mean comments or something like that is gonna, like, actually bother me. You have to keep in mind that I would, in a lot of cases, she'd be on her computer and I'd sit on her bed and I would read her out messages and hate threads about myself, and we would laugh at the things that people would say. So the whole idea that, like, you're gonna say something that's gonna, like, bother me or upset me, you know, even about her, it's just really not gonna happen. She's not gonna give a fuck, man. And yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, she never cared. And anyway, we played this a lot, and so, like, I stayed up, I played that game, and I remember I woke her up, and she was taking a nap, and I beat Bowser in Super Mario World, like the one in Super Nintendo, and I remember I was like, I woke her up, and she was like, I'm like, get up, I fucking beat him. And she got up, and she, like, we watched the credits together for Super Mario World, and I was like, I guess 7 or something like that, right? Like, I was super, super, super young. And, yeah, it was great. Wholesome, very, very fucking wholesome, man. And, yeah, it was a great, great time. Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster is a really great one. Well, you want to hear it that my favorite remaster of Horizon Zero Dawn is?
Garukan favors me.
So this is the new remaster of Light of Moitrium. And so I saw this game before, and, kind of crazy, looking really good. Let me see if I can find a little bit of combat. They're not showing, oh yeah, here we go. Here's some combat. Yeah, so I don't need to worry about that anymore because we're going to have this new game and we're going to play that and it's going to be no problem. So yeah, we're not going to need to play, what do you call it, Horizon Zero Dawn quick track. That's going to look way better, right? The tree hitting simulator? Yeah, there's some levels of, like, gathering on the stars, I don't know. Big weapon? Yeah. Sounds like it's made for phone.
time. Excuse me. What is wrong with this woman? She's asking about stuff that's nobody's business. What do I do? Really, what do I do here? I should have written it down. Qua something. Quabity Ashwins. No, but I'm getting close.
He was my favorite fucking character, man. I'm gonna be honest. He was so fucking good, man. Wow. Love The Office so much. Yeah, it's actually so funny, man. And Creed the Goat, yeah. But what do you do around here? What? I gotta go, guys, yeah. You plan on playing Donkey's newly published game? Well, I played Animal Well a little bit. I haven't played another one. I didn't even really put another game out. This did not age well. Uh-oh, what's this?
Out of mana!
Garukan favors me.
Oh my god. Where are you going? Did this happen? Like, yeah, did they know? I don't even think that they knew. I think, honestly, straight up, this was just a fucking meme thing, and it just happened. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it was just a joke. It's not acting. Maybe it's not. I don't know. It's fucking hilarious, though. But the stream is good. I don't know if they were or not. I mean, there's a lot of people that act weird.
Die forgotten.
So I don't like the whole idea of like trying to read people's body language and then try to come to the conclusion that there's some sort of like crazy sexual predator. I think there's a lot of people that do that, and I find it to be very just very problematic in general, right? Where it's like, oh, I'm gonna look at you, or like the way you look, the way you act, it's like, oh, I know that you're this kind of a person, right? It's very, very weird. And every single time that somebody gets outed as being, you know, X or Y thing, there's always people that are like, oh, I knew it. No, you didn't, you fucking retard. You didn't know shit. Shut the hell up. It's so annoying. Yeah, yeah, the movie, I don't know what it is, because I have no idea. Probably a TV show or something, right? Assassin's Creed Shadow spoilers are out there. So, gentlemen, it has been 0 days since the last controversy for Assassin's Creed Shadows. I know. Assassin's Creed Shadows is already being streamed and leaked online a month before the game's release due to some players getting a hold of physical copies. Here we go. Physical copies of the game are already finding their way into some players' hands. Physical copies of Ubisoft's games appear to be out in the US, despite the release date of the official being not until March 20th. The gamer also spotted a now removed listing on the auction site that sold the game for $100. Wow, that's a lot of money. Some of those acquiring copies of the game have started sharing its contents online. Now, for me, I don't like covering leaks, so I'm not going to go through and talk about a lot of this stuff. But it is really fucking funny for me to see this. $10 profit. Yeah, exactly, right? And I don't know what to say.
Yes.
When I worked for Best Buy briefly, we used to get games stupid early.
Time
Yeah,
is
of
the
course,
essence.
right? I mean, that's just how anything like that is going to go. It's not like it's really surprising or anything like that at all, of course. It's just that they don't expect people to buy them or do that or whatever, right? Trump's live. Okay, let me go back. I'll see if I can... Oh!
First Lady of France, not so long ago. It was a beautiful evening. And,
Here it is.
We will not soon forget it. It was a beautiful day and evening. And many fond memories. I also want to thank Emmanuel for hosting me in Paris last December after a historic election win to witness the reopening of the spectacular Notre Dame Cathedral. Where you did an outstanding job in bringing it back together. That was a sad day watching that burn.
Oh, yeah!
5 years later, you had it up, and it was, they say, more beautiful than it was before. So I think that's a great achievement. That was not easy. France is America's oldest ally. Our cherished
True,
partnership
actually.
has been a force.
Because remember that
for
one
freedom,
thing.
prosperity and peace from the very beginning. We're now
Yep.
working on some very interesting developments. One in particular is
Big true.
the war between Russia and Ukraine. In the American Revolution, French support helped us to seize our destiny as an independent nation. In the First and Second World Wars, our citizens shed blood together
That's right.
on the battlefields of Europe. And I'll never forget joining President Macron 6 years ago on the 75th anniversary of D-Day. That was some day.
Man.
The purpose of our meeting today is to end another battle, a really horrible one, a war, something that we haven't seen since the Second World War, that is ravaging European soil, the deadliest and most destructive conflict that one can imagine. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the satellite photos and lots of other photos, and it's a horrible thing that's happening.
Ugh.
Thousands of people are dying a week. This very day is the 3rd anniversary of the invasion of Ukraine, which would never have happened if I was president. That was not going to happen.
Should have done the bingo.
Gruesome and bloody war.
We should have done the
can
bingo.
scarcely be Overestimated. Hundreds of thousands of people, Russians and Ukrainians in particular, have needlessly died. An entire generation of
Elden Ring came out 3
Ukrainians
years
and
ago.
Russian men
Nuts.
has been decimated. 1,000-year-old cities have been turned into rubble. Those beautiful spires that you used to see there, they were most beautiful in the world,
gold
they say,
ones.
are lying in heaps of rubble, blasted to smithereens. It's time to end this bloodletting and restore peace, and I think we're going to do it. We've had some great conversations, including with Russia. Since my return to the White House, we've made more progress toward that goal in 1 month than occurred in the past 3 years. And I've spoken with both President Putin and President Zelensky. And again, a lot of good things toward peace are happening, moving it, I think, pretty quickly. Last week,
We'll see.
Secretary of
Yeah,
State
we'll
Marco
see.
Rubio, National Security Advisor Michael Waltz, and Special Envoy Steve Witkoff conducted successful talks in Saudi Arabia with the delegation from Russia, and I'd like to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
And the King, Mohammed, great people. And we're
What
working
can I
hard
do?
to get this done. Our focus is on achieving a ceasefire as soon as possible and ultimately a permanent peace. My meeting with President Macron today was another important step forward in that sphere, because he's been very much involved right from the beginning in trying to get it over with, and we're going to get it done. I believe that Emmanuel agrees with me on many of the most important issues. Chief among them is this is the right time, maybe the only time. You know, that's a very interesting and horrible situation, and that could evolve into a third world war. We're not going to let that happen.
That would be bad. A third world
It never
war.
started, but it did, and what a mess! What a horrible, bloody mess.
Yeah.
I'm also pleased that President Macron agrees that the cost and burden of securing the peace must be borne by the nations of Europe, not alone by the United States. Europe must take that central role in assuring long-term security of Ukraine, which they want to do. And that's not a very big step. The big step is what's going to happen over the next few weeks. The United States has put up far more aid for Ukraine than any other nation. Hundreds of billions of dollars. We've spent more than 300 billion, and Europe has spent about 100 billion. That's a big difference, and at some point we should equalize. But hopefully we won't have to worry about that. We have other things happening that maybe take that out of the realm of necessity. And while we've given vast amounts of military aid and money in form of grants, much of Europe's contribution has been economic relief structured as loans, for which they'll be repaid. Like the Europeans, I believe that taxpayers in the United States also deserve to recoup the colossal amounts of money that we've...
That's the shiny rocks.
The previous administration never even thought of that. They didn't think of a lot of things, like why did they let it start in the first place? That is why we must have an agreement with Ukraine on critical minerals and rare earths and various other things as security. And I think that that's happening. I think we've made a lot of progress. I had a report just given to me before walking in, and that we've made Emmanuel a great deal of progress toward getting there. I've been elected by the American people to restore common sense to Washington and indeed to the world, and I believe strongly that it's in the best interest of the United States, the best interest in Europe, the best interest in Ukraine, and indeed the best interest of Russia to stop the killing now and bring the world to peace. My administration is making a decisive break with the foreign policy failures of the past administration and frankly the past. I ran against a very foolish foreign policy establishment, and their recklessness has led to the death of many, many people. Under our administration, we're forging a new path that promotes peace around the world. And when I left office for the first administration, first term, we had no wars, we had no problems. We didn't have October 7th with Israel. We didn't have Russia and Ukraine going at it. We didn't have the problems in other parts of the Middle East. Inflation. It's a whole different world.
Wow.
You know what else we didn't have? Millions of people pouring through our borders, many of them
There it
criminals
is.
released from
Nope.
other nations and put right into our land. Murderers, drug dealers, gangs.
Yep.
We didn't have any of that.
No.
Different time, but now we have it and we're fixing it. We'll fix it all up and get it done as quickly as possible. And we've made a great deal of progress. People are saying it was the best month for a president in our country's history. I hope
Wow.
that's right, but I feel it's right. We've done a lot of things in a very short period of time, 4 weeks. As I've said before, it's my hope that my greatest legacy, however, will be as a peacemaker and a unifier. I want to bring peace, not war. I thank President Macron for joining us today in this urgent work we're doing. We have some wonderful people up front right here that have worked so hard. Steve Witkoff, thank you very much. Michael Waltz, thank you. Scott, thank you very much. JD,
President
thank you.
Macaroon?
Really
That's his
done
name?
They've really done a job. They worked very hard. It's like
Really?
it's a real passion to get this war ended. And I'd like to now we invite Emmanuel to say a few words, and then we'll take questions.
Uh-oh.
And again, Emmanuel, it's a great honor to have you with us at the White House. Thank you very much.
It is crazy, like, you know,
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, dear Donald.
about the fact that French helped us out in the Revolutionary War.
Je vais dire quelques mots en français.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'll be saying a few words in French.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président,
Thank
cher
you
Donald,
very
pour
much,
votre
Mr. President.
hospitalité.
Yeah, our
Dear
first
Donald,
ally.
for your
Yeah, actually our
hospitality
first
and for
ally.
this visit. As you
Nous avons eu
mentioned,
l'occasion ces dernières années,
we
lors
have had the opportunity to
de nos
meet
premiers mandats,
over
de
the past
pouvoir
few years.
I'm
Since your
à plusieurs
first term,
reprises à
we've been
Paris,
able to discuss
ici, à
matters
la
in
Maison
Paris
Blanche,
and
et à
also
travers le
here
monde, ça
at
a
the
toujours
White
été
House.
I can't fix
It
it.
has
d'honneur et
always
de dire
been
des souvenirs
Sorry.
joy.
Fall before me. Didn't break a sweat.
The cathedral.
Back to the Revolutionary
chaque fois
War
que
since
l'histoire
the
a sonné,
beginning of the United States.
That's right.
nous a ramenés ensemble.
These were our
à cause de
boys.
celle-ci.
We've needed to,
C'est-à-dire
we've been
comme,
able to come together and be on the
étant
right
unis
side.
pour défendre
We've been
la
able to
paix,
be
la souveraineté.
united to defend
Et je pense
peace and
évidemment
sovereignty,
aux deux guerres mondiales
namely in the
qui
two
ont scandé
world
le
wars.
XXe
I can't fix it.
La Lafayette du voyage de la Chine jusqu'aux vétérans américains que nous célébrions il y a encore quelques mois sur la plage d'Omaha Beach. Et j'étais très heureux de
Many
revoir d'ailleurs
Americans who landed on
tout à
Omaha
l'heure, parce que
Beach.
vous m'avez laissé quelques minutes entre deux de nos rendez-vous.
We spoke
L'un d'entre eux qui est
earlier
venu me visiter,
before,
je
and
veux
you
ici dire
mentioned
le
that
grand
one
respect que nous avons pour nos anciens combattants. Et c'est celle qui nous lie dans le contexte avait évidemment un objectif premier qui est la situation géopolitique. Et je dois dire que d'aménager votre agenda pour que nous puissions pour moi une étape. Nous avons ensemble partagé une visioconférence avec l'ensemble des dirigeants du G7 deuxième phase de la guerre d'agression russe
3
en
days
Ukraine,
after you
de dire
Actually
évidemment
fixes it? Yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah.
d'avoir une paix durable.
share about our desire for a lasting
Semaine par rapport à
This is what we have spoken about
depuis le 25
very
juillet 2022,
forcefully.
chacun admire la bravoure du peuple ukrainien.
War was
Yeah.
only going to last a few weeks.
Nous avons une raison de responsabilité.
And Mr.
Je veux
President, I
ici
wish
dire que l'Europe n'a ménagé ni minoré ses responsabilités ni
Uh-oh, here comes the fact check.
Victory is mine!
but also for our
Need mana!
He right. Yep.
cristallisé.
Mr. President, we've been
Plusieurs points. D'abord, de finaliser en effet
and
Yeah.
Ukraine on rare earths.
Garukan favors me.
Having a subsequent conversation of achieving this deal, which is we also have a shared desire to
Yeah.
we will have this response 10 years after war started in Somalia. Saw the events
Straight up lies. That's the truth.
and along the northern part of the country. We want to save lives, we want to
Need mana!
paix durable, dans laquelle il y aura la question de la reconstruction de l'Ukraine, la question de ses territoires et la question des garanties de sécurité, c'est-à-dire du maintien de la paix dans la durée. Car je le redisais au président, nous avons déjà connu des accords de paix
Yeah.
qui n'étaient que des cessez-le-feu
I don't think they're going to join NATO.
sécurité, c'est la
Yeah, I feel like that's not going to happen.
et nous savons d'expérience que
This guy
cela
talks
tient.
as much as Trump.
Et je sais la volonté du
And we
président
want to make sure this doesn't happen
d'être
again. And I know
un
that
acteur durable justement
President
de la paix dans la
has
région,
expressed
de
the
vouloir
desire to
fixer
be a
dans la
player
durée
for
cette paix.
peace
Et je crois pouvoir dire,
in
après
the
avoir
region.
consulté une trentaine de
I've
dirigeants
spoken to some
européens ces derniers
30
jours,
European leaders and
bâtir cette
allies.
unité, venir nous voir,
They want
tous partagent la
to
même vision des choses. Voulons la paix.
and share the
Cette paix ne
same
peut pas signifier la capitulation de l'Ukraine.
peace
Cette paix ne peut pas être... Cette paix doit prévoir
without fearing.
les conditions d'une souveraineté ukrainienne qui permettra à l'Ukraine de négocier avec les parties prenantes ces questions qu'il a touché
Other
et
stakeholders
sur laquelle
regarding
elle
the
est
issue
légitime à
it
négocier.
affects.
Et c'est une paix dans
That
laquelle
affects it
nous
rather,
devons
but it is also
prendre nos
a country
responsabilités
in which we
pour
need
maintenir
They
la
will join NATO?
our
We'll see.
responsibility for
Sans take you!
and for us Europeans
Nous avons longuement
it's
discuté
existential.
cela
I must travel
avec
light.
le
We also
président.
spoke about
J'ai pu lui dire tout ce que nous
at
avions travaillé avec
with
le
the
président
president.
Zelensky. On est rentré
We've
dans le
worked with
détail
President
justement
Zelensky
des
and gotten
différentes
to
étapes
some
des
details of
négociations.
the various
Et nous avons pu
phases
aussi
of the
évoquer tout le travail qui a été fait
negotiation. And
avec
we've
nos
also been
partenaires
able to
britanniques
speak about some of this
pour
work with our
concevoir justement
British
ce que pourraient
partners
être
to
des déploiements de forces de paix
talk about
sur le sol
deployments
ukrainien.
of peace
Some of y'all say the
forces
craziest
on
shit.
Garantie de
Ukrainian
sécurité
soil,
à
which are
laquelle
part
d'autres
of
pays
these
d'ailleurs sont prêts à se
security
joindre
guarantees. Other
et pour
countries are
laquelle
ready to
évidemment
join in this
Mais,
effort.
solidarité de soutien américain sont
Solidarity
indispensables et
and
je vous
support
remercie,
from the
Monsieur
US
le
will be
Président,
crucial
d'avoir
to this,
commencé le
and I
travail avec
thank you,
nous sur ce
Mr.
point.
President, for beginning
Oh, here we go.
to work
que
with us
l'accord
on
que vous
this
signez,
issue.
vous
And
apprêtez à signer avec l'Ukraine
agreement that
et
you
la
are
discussion très
preparing to
claire que
sign
nous avons
with
eue à cet égard,
Ukraine
pour
and
moi,
with
sont
this
des garanties
discussions
solides.
we've had
Que nous
are
nous sommes
very
compris
solid
et que notre
guarantees
volonté est la
that
même.
we are
La paix le plus
understood
vite
and that
possible.
we have the same wish,
Une paix
peace as
solide
soon as
et durable
possible,
pour tout le monde
lasting,
et la
solid
reprise en
peace
quelque sorte
for
d'une
everyone,
vie internationale qui permette
and
d'offrir à tous
the
des
renewal
responsabilités.
of
Donc
an
dans ce cadre,
international
He
situation
really
les
talks a
where we
lot.
are all
prendront leurs
able to
responsabilités
shoulder
aux
our
côtés de leur allié
responsibilities.
américain qui prendra les
Europeans
siennes.
shouldering their responsibilities
égard,
alongside their American
je suis
allies
venu
who will
aussi
shoulder
ici
their
porter un
own
message
responsibilities.
Yeah.
président de
I
très grande
also
clarté
wanted
de
to be
l'engagement
very
européen.
clear, Mr. President, about
Nous sommes engagés
Europe's
pour
commitment.
bâtir une paix
We
durable.
have committed to
Nous sommes
building
engagés
a
comme
lasting
Européens
peace.
pour
As
être partie
Europeans,
prenante
we
justement de
have
ces garanties
committed
de
to
sécurité.
being
Et
stakeholders
plus largement, nous sommes engagés,
in these security guarantees.
conscients que nous sommes,
And
que
we are
les
also
Européens doivent
well
encore
aware
faire davantage
that Europeans need to do
pour
more
la sécurité de l'Europe, sa
for
défense,
security in
et en
Europe,
quelque
for
sorte un partage
defense
plus
in
juste du fardeau
Europe.
Is this the guy?
que votre
Share the
pays porte depuis
security
plusieurs années.
burden
Et au
that
fond,
your
pas
country's
simplement,
been
Monsieur le
carrying for
Président,
so many
vous
years.
savez l'amitié que je vous porte parce que vous le demandez.
Mr. President,
That's the guy, isn't it?
A rare
Votre
treasure.
premier mandat.
much
Mais
friendship
parce que
I
je crois que
show
tout le
towards
monde
Yeah.
you and I
en
have
Europe
towards you
est
since
lucide
your
sur le fait que
first
c'est notre
term.
devoir pour
Europe is
nous-mêmes,
very clear-eyed
tant
That's what I
about
thought.
this. We know
compte
what we
tenu
need
du
to
risque
do
qui nous entoure
as
et de la
Europeans,
responsabilité qui est
given
la
the
nôtre.
threats
Et donc le
surrounding
président
us and
Costa
the
ce matin a rappelé
responsibilities that we
cet
must
agenda de
shoulder.
Versailles de mars 2022 qui
We
a déjà
spoke
conduit les
about
Européens
the
à
Versailles
augmenter
agenda,
à faire
and
davantage
increase their
cette
investments.
sécurité beaucoup plus
Europeans are
et
ready
beaucoup
to
plus
do
fort.
even more and to go
Plusieurs
even
ont
farther.
dit cela avant de venir.
And
Monsieur
several leaders said
le
that to
Président,
me
cher
before I
Donald,
came
vous
here to
l'avez
meet you.
compris, cette paix par la
Mr.
force à laquelle vous croyez,
President,
c'est
dear
celle à
Donald,
laquelle nous
you
sommes
spoke
engagés
about this
par notre
peace
Dear
conviction,
Donald.
parce que
We
Go on.
fully
je
share
pense
that
au peuple qui est un sacrifice.
because we must
Et à ce que nous lui
recognize
devons.
the sacrifices
Nous
made
avons
by the Ukrainian
également avec
people and
Monsieur
what
le
we
Président
owe to them.
évoqué
The President and I
économique
also spoke about
et au fond notre
economic
volonté de
matters
voir
and
plus de
our
prospérité aux
desire to
États-Unis
see
et en
more
Europe.
prosperity in the
Nous avons eu
United
des
States
This is
and in
impressive.
Europe.
Poursuivis par
We
nos
had
ministres, nos
discussions
équipes,
which
There's
were
a lot.
carried on
clarifier
by
les
our
sujets qui
teams,
doivent
our
l'être.
ministers and
Mais au fond,
secretaries
notre
to
volonté, c'est qu'il y ait une
flesh out
concurrence.
some of those ideas,
juste
but the idea is to have
et
fair
Yeah.
competition
pas de biais dans la concurrence
and no
de
bias
nos industries pour pouvoir
within
échanger.
competition between our
Et je vais ici dire
industries.
combien les économies américaines et
Yeah.
européennes
Now,
sont liées. Ce sont les économies
American
les plus
and
imbriquées.
European economies
Ce sont
are
1500 milliards
extremely
de dollars
intertwined.
d'échanges
Yeah.
de
Some
produits
1.5
services
billion,
physiques
He wants to
et digitaux
outspeech Trump.
chaque année.
a
Et
trillion rather,
je sais votre attachement à rétablir la balance des
in
paiements.
goods and
Oserais-je dire
services,
qu'en-
See
and
if I
I know
can find
you've
some.
spoken about wanting
Je dirais même,
to
puisque
look at the balance of
nous avons
payments.
aussi un déficit
We
commercial,
also have a trade
il
deficit,
sait aussi faire valoir qu'il fallait
and
regarder pas simplement
I
les
know
biens et
that
produits,
we
mais
need to look not
les
only
produits numériques
at
pour lesquels vous êtes un très grand
goods, but
exportateur.
also
Et au
digital
fond, la
items
solution, c'est
and
de nous
goods
engager
which you
sincèrement vers
export. And we want to make a sincere
une concurrence
commitment
justement qui soit équitable
towards
et la volonté
fair
d'avoir des échanges
competition
plus fluides et encore
where we
davantage
have
d'investissements. Vous
smooth
êtes un très grand
trade
investisseur
and
en
more
France.
What is it?
investments.
Nous
You
sommes
already
le cinquième
invest
investisseur en
a
France,
great
pas
deal
simplement
in
l'Europe,
France.
dans votre pays.
And
Et
France
je
is
souhaite
the
qu'on
fifth
fasse
most-
davantage de
the
part et
fifth
d'autre.
largest
Et je
investor
veux
in the
saluer d'ailleurs
United
tous les
States.
investisseurs
And I would like
américains
to
qui ont fait partie des
recognize
grandes
here
annonces
all
pour
of the
l'intelligence
American
artificielle.
investors
Il y a quelques
who
jours à Paris, où
announced
120 milliards de dollars
investments,
d'investissement ont été annoncés en intelligence
some
artificielle pour notre pays.
$120
A
billion
new
were
brand
Bien
announced
of
at the
power.
c'est notre
AI
volonté
Summit.
d'avoir en effet plus de prospérité. Je suis
This
convaincu
is
qu'il y a
our
au
wish. We
fond
want to have
un
more
agenda positif
prosperity
derrière
on
tout ça.
both sides of the
Enfin,
Atlantic. We have
nous
a
avons
shared
ensemble évoqué
agenda in
plusieurs
that
sujets
regard.
sur le
We
Proche et
also
Moyen-Orient.
spoke about the
Je
Middle
crois pouvoir
East,
dire que
among
nous
other
partageons la même
subjects.
volonté de ne
And
jamais
here
voir
again, we
l'Iran
have the same
obtenir
desire. We don't
l'arme
want to see
nucléaire,
Iran
notre
obtain
volonté de revenir
nuclear
à
weapons. We don't
au fond,
want,
That's bad.
une approche avec les partenaires de la région en qui nous avons
or rather,
confiance
we
qui
want
permettent
an approach with
eh bien,
partners in the
justement
region that we
de
can
cantonner
trust.
les activités nucléaires iraniennes, de
Given
pouvoir limiter ses
Iran's
capacités
nuclear
balistiques
activities, we want
et
to
de
limit
réduire
its
ses
ballistic
déstabilisations régionales.
capabilities and
Yeah.
avoid any
Et
type
sur
of
la Syrie et
regional
l'Irak, nous partageons la même
destabilization.
volonté aussi
With
de ne
respect to
pas
Syria
voir
and
les
Iraq, we
groupes
also
terroristes islamistes
share the same desire. We
reprendre
don't
de la
want to see
force, retrouver de
Islamic
l'activité,
terrorist groups
parce que depuis des
resume
années,
any
nos
of of their
armées sont
activities.
avec
Yeah,
courage
terrorism
et
bad.
Our
Dans
armies
cette
Real
have
bad.
bravely been engaged
Nobody likes
in the
it.
Gulf,
et à laquelle
Nobody
nous
wants it.
contribuons.
as you have
C'est une
led,
mission forte et importante qui a
and
contribué à la stabilité de
contributions
la région.
have been significant
Et je le dis
and
avec
helped
Yeah.
stability in the region.
Real
de
bad.
sincérité, de
And
force
I
et
say this with
d'engagement,
great
puisque la France a été
sincerity.
touchée par un attentat terroriste en 2015
France
qui
was
avait été
affected by
préparé.
a terrorist attack in
Nous ne
2015,
céderons
which
rien
was linked to the terrorist
cette région
activity in
à vos
Syria.
côtés.
And
pour
we
plus
are
de
in that
sécurité.
region
Voilà,
at
mesdames et
your
messieurs, en
side
tout cas, nos échanges
to work for more
ont été
security.
extrêmement fructueux.
Ladies and
à la
gentlemen,
fois
we
ce
had
matin à l'issue de
extremely
notre
productive
visioconférence
discussions.
et à l'instant avec
this morning
le
during
président,
the
les ministres
conference,
et nos conseillers.
and we spoke with our ministers
Et je
and
veux dire
counselors and
combien
advisors. And I wish to say,
This is
ces échanges
crazy.
avec le président Trump, je
after
suis convaincu
speaking
qu'il y a un
with
chemin.
President Trump,
He's
I
really
Partager nos
fully
convictions, nos
believe that there is a
exigences.
path forward. We
Nous
share
savons tout le travail qui
the
reste à
same
faire. Et donc dans les
beliefs. We
prochaines
know
semaines, nous avons
what needs to be done,
aurons
and in the
l'occasion,
weeks to come,
nos équipes puis
we
nous,
will
de nous
work on
revoir
that.
dans
Our
des
teams
He
will
going
come
in.
together in
Faire de
various
cette paix
formats to
solide,
make
durable,
sure that we have this
By the end of this, I'm gonna learn
solid,
French.
lasting
une
peace with
réalité de court
great
terme. En tout
strength.
cas, Monsieur le Président, permettez-moi de vous remercier
Mr. President,
votre accueil,
thank you
remercier
so
pour
much
la
for welcoming
qualité
me
de nos
here
échanges
today. Thank you so
et
much
pour
for
votre engagement.
these productive
Merci,
discussions
cher
and for your commitment. Thank you, dear Donald.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. Brian, would you like to ask a question?
Poll that came out that had, thank you very much.
Oh, God.
The Harvard poll that came out had you up 9+ points, and all of your
Wow.
agenda that you ran on, you're accomplishing that. You got the support of the American people, including stopping the war in Ukraine. You can
Well-
comment on the latest Harvard poll. I appreciate that.
Well, I was honored by it. It was a big poll, and it's
Do you want to comment on the
poll
fact that
leads
you're
to
doing
the
good?
other side of things, the other side
Man.
of the world, so to speak.
So true.
But the Harvard poll is a respected poll, and it has us not only leading, but leading by a lot, and leading on every single issue that we've talked about. And as I said, we've become the party of common sense, and I think that's a very important element now, common sense, because what's happening in the world and even in this country, some of the things that took place, many of them are now canceled, and the rest are being canceled as we speak. But we've moved very rapidly and I think very effectively. So I was honored by that poll. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Great question. Super good question.
Go ahead, please.
Next one's gonna be out January 6th.
That you would like to see a Russia.
Yes. Go ahead.
So you're going to Saudi Arabia? Yeah.
I think the meeting in Saudi Arabia was a fantastic one. We met with the Crown Prince, who was fantastic. A young guy. He's young, but with great imagination and tremendously respected all over the world. And he goes right to the king, and the king is incredible. Got to be friends with both of them very much, and they want to see this ended, and they're going all out to make sure
Tremendous.
that it is ended. I think Russia, likewise.
Wait, did
I've spoken
the
to
audio
President
guy's
Putin,
DEI?
and my people
Oh.
are dealing with him constantly, and his people
Yeah.
in particular. And they
Yep.
want to do something. I mean, that's what I do. I do deals. My whole life is deals. That's all I know is deals. And I know when somebody wants to make it, and when somebody doesn't. I will say this: before I came here, there was no communication with Russia whatsoever, and
Why?
Russia wasn't answering calls. They were not
Wait,
talking to anybody. They wouldn't talk to anybody, and people sort of
He wouldn't even answer
accepted
the
that
phone?
as being that they want to go forward and just keep going without stop.
Oh, God.
But when I got here, one of the first calls I made was to President Putin, and we were treated with great respect, and they want to end this war. So that's a big thing.
That's good.
Because I didn't know if I could say that, but it's a big thing. They want to do it, and the group in the front row that I introduced, they were all very active in it, and we're working on deals right now, transactions right now, and in particular, the big one is to get the war stopped, whether it's ceasefire or direct to an agreement. I'd like to go directly to an agreement, but ceasefire will always happen a little bit quicker. And every day you're saving thousands, or at least hundreds, but thousands in some cases lives. So we want to see if we can get that done very quickly. Yes, for the president, please.
Oh.
Thank you. Correspondent based in Paris. Question for both of you, actually. Mr. Macron, you were one of the last Western leaders to speak to Putin before Ukraine's invasion. What advice, what recommendation could you make to President Trump to make sure that this time you can get strong enough guarantees from Putin to get a peace deal that lasts this time? And Mr. President Trump, what makes you think you can trust Putin in those negotiations?
That's a good question.
Look, I will never give any advice to President Trump. We have friendly and trustful discussion, but my experience with President Putin is following. Number one, I always think it's good to have discussion with other leaders, and especially when you disagree.
He's right.
I stopped
That's
my
true.
discussion with President Putin after Bucha and the war crimes because I considered that, we had nothing to get from him at the time. Now that there's a chance, there is a big change because there is a new U.S. administration. So this is a new
Wait, so he stopped talking to Putin because of Biden?
Reason for President Trump to re-engage with President Putin. But my experience.
Is that what he's saying?
And I shared it with President Trump and his team. In 2014, our predecessors negotiated peace with President Putin. But because of the lack of guarantees, and especially security guarantees, President Putin violated this peace. And I had several discussions, especially at the beginning of 2022, several times, 7 hours with President Putin. 15 days before launching of the attack.
7 hours?
He denied everything, but we didn't have security guarantees. So this is why being strong and having deterrence capacities is the only way to be sure it will be respected. And I insisted on that, and this is why I believe that the US has the capacity to do so. And this is why I think we should never say, I will never send any boat on the ground because you give a blank check to violate any type of commitment. So I think it's good to have discussion. I think it's useful to have negotiation. I think it's super important to go to the peace. But my strong point was to say, let's try to get something first which can be assessed, checked and verified. And let's be sure that we build sufficient guarantees in the short run. And this is where we are ready to be engaged. As for France, a lot of my European colleagues are ready to be engaged. But we do need this American backup because this is part of the credibility of the security guarantees. And this is our collective deterrence capacity. And I have the feeling that the President has this capacity.
Benefit of Russia to make a deal, and I feel that we'll do that. It is what it is. Again, it's a war that should have never been started. It's a war that would not have been started if I were president, but it did start, and it's at a terrible level where cities are
It is what it is.
and shot down to the ground. It looks like demolition sites, all
Oh,
big pile of
shit.
demolition sites, and we got to get it stopped. Too many people, too much agony. The whole culture is destroyed
Man.
when you rip down some of those ancient, really ancient or near ancient buildings.
You gonna talk
It's,
about those
it's
gold
so sad to
towers
see.
again?
But I think it's very much to the benefit of, there's tremendous distrust on both sides. That's why it's good that I'm coming in now, but I think it's to the very much benefit of Russia to make a deal and to go
This
on
one
with,
is.
Go on with leading Russia in a very positive way. That's what you have to do. But I really believe that he wants to make a deal. Maybe wrong, but I believe he wants to make a deal. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Next week there's a key deadline for your Canada and Mexico tariffs. Do you expect those will go back on, or do you believe those countries have done enough on the border
Yeah,
to
get that
stop
shit
those
out of
from
here.
taking effect? And for President
Get that
Macron,
bullshit out of
I'm
my ear.
wondering if you believe that this critical minerals deal with Ukraine represents a de facto security guarantee by the United States, since the U.S. would have an interest in protecting those reserves in Ukraine. Thank you.
That's the logic.
We're on time with the tariffs, and it seems like that's moving along very rapidly.
Uh-oh.
We've been mistreated very badly by many countries, not just Canada and Mexico. We've been taken advantage of. We were led by, in some cases, fools, because anybody that would sign
Who could that
documents
possibly
like
be?
they signed, where they were able to take advantage of the American people, like has happened over the last long period of time, except for a little 4-year period that took place 4 years ago.
Uh-oh.
But anybody that would agree to allow this to happen to our country should be ashamed of themselves. No, the tariffs are going forward on time, on schedule. This is an abuse that took place for many, many years. And I'm not even blaming the other countries that did this. I blame our leadership for allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
You know, who can blame them if they made these great deals with the United
Everybody
States?
roaching out on Biden, bro.
On manufacturing, on just about everything. Every aspect that you can imagine they took advantage of. I look at some of these agreements, I'd read them at night and I'd say, who would ever sign a thing like this?
Yeah.
So the tariffs will go forward.
Well, it wasn't
We're gonna
Biden
make up
either.
a lot of territory.
To be fair.
All we want is reciprocal. We want reciprocity. We want to have the same. So if somebody charges us, we charge them. It's very simple, but it'll be very good for our country. Our country will be extremely liquid and rich again. Plus, we're doing other things, as you know, with finding tremendous waste, fraud, and abuse at levels that nobody thought possible. You're seeing what's going on. And
I think a lot of
that
people
was
thought
also
it was
part of the
possible.
Harvard poll. Do you agree with what President Trump is doing with Elon and others that are looking for the waste, fraud, and abuse? And the numbers were staggering. It was like
What if they open the
70%
vault
to
and there's
2%.
no gold there?
Everybody wants to find out. They don't like it. And, you know, the radical left or whoever it may be starts screaming about the Constitution, but it has nothing to do with the Constitution. It has to do with fairness to this country. It has to do with being ripped off. And when you read the things that all of these billions, and I mean many billions, hundreds of billions of dollars have been spent on, that's all you have to do is stand up here and read them. I could stand up all day and read the kind of things where we're spending all of
good.
this money.
We're going to get that again?
The good news is that when you think of how rich a nation we can be when we get rid of this, you know, sometimes you'll buy a company and you'll see it was really well run. They accounted for every penny. Well, not much you can do there. You got yourself a bad deal. This one is the exact opposite. Tremendous fraud, tremendous waste. And when you think of what it is, you know, Elon uses the expression caring. If we had people that just cared a little bit, where they did contracts, where they negotiated with outside vendors on behalf of the United States. That's what I'm doing now. I'm negotiating for the people of the United States. So we're doing a great job of it. I will say we found it'll be hundreds of billions of dollars of waste and fraud and abuse. Thank you, please.
Look, I think this discussion is a very important one. First, because it's important for the US, and it will be a good occasion for a first very important meeting between President Trump and President Zelensky. Second, I think there is a lot of economic upside on both sides. And third, de facto, there is a recognition of Ukrainian sovereignty, a recognition of the Ukrainian interests, and this is de facto a very important alignment of interests. Now the security guarantees will be negotiated in due time in a full-fledged package of a peace security. But this peace, as it is now written and negotiated, and as this meeting is scheduled, is an important step forward, full-fledged peace agreement.
Monsieur le Président Trump,
no.
Macron.
President Trump,
Ah.
President Macron.
First of all, you say, I would like to make a deal with Putin.
Oh,
So
okay.
when you do a deal, it's a win-win deal. What are you giving
Never
to
mind.
him, and what is he going to give you?
Well, Russia
to
wins, America wins.
And I was impressed by the way
Yeah,
you referred
obviously.
to Notre Dame, and that you were impressed by the reconstruction of Notre Dame. A lot of Americans have sent money to Paris to participate to the reconstruction of Notre Dame. As the President of the United States, are you going to contribute to the reconstruction of Ukraine? Et Monsieur le Président Macron,
President
quelle est pour
Macron,
vous la principale avancée
what
de
for
votre
you
entretien
is
avec
the
Trump?
main
Et pouvez-vous
area
nous
of
confirmer
progress in
qu'il y
your
a
meeting with
effectivement
President
un
Trump?
accord
Can
pour
you
envoyer
confirm
des
that
troupes
there is an
européennes
agreement to
de maintien
send
de la paix?
European
Est-ce que la France
peacekeeping
va le
troops?
faire?
Will France
Combien
participate in that? How many troops? What would they
They
be
asked that
doing?
3 times.
Would this represent a
They
great
already went and
danger
asked
to
that
send
shit.
French and European troops to Ukraine?
Well, I guess it's a little strange question because you ask whether or not we're going to, on behalf of the United States, contribute to Ukraine. I mean, we're in there for about $350 billion. I think that's a pretty big contribution. I do appreciate
So no.
the first part of your question, however, because I think they've done
Okay.
an incredible job with the Cathedral of Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I think the president has done. I know he headed it up, and I know how hard he worked, and it took a period of time, but really not a long period of time considering what that was, so delicate, so beautiful.
Yeah.
And I was there, and I saw the work, and I'm very good at construction. I know good construction, I know bad construction. They did a beautiful job, and this man has to be given a lot of credit for that. It's an incredible cathedral. Most people thought it couldn't be saved, and if it was, it would have to be built in a different form, and we didn't want to see a different form. We wanted to see the same form that you built. So I just want to congratulate you. That was an amazing job. I don't think you've gotten enough credit for it. Someday you will. Someday you will.
Man.
Thank you, Donald. Merci beaucoup. Pour revenir à votre
Thank you
question,
very
je
much.
considère que
To
la
go back to your
discussion d'aujourd'hui
question,
a été marquée par
today's
plusieurs avancées.
discussion showed
D'abord,
several
la
areas of
confirmation, c'était une
progress.
des choses importantes
First,
pour nous. Ça fait partie de tout le travail qu'on a
we
mené aussi avec le
have been working a great deal with President Zelensky to have a proposal that's acceptable to Ukraine.
Trump a confirmé qu'il
President
allait
Trump has
rencontrer rapidement le
confirmed
président
that he will be
Zelensky
meeting with President
finaliser
Zelensky very
l'accord
soon to finalize
sur
the
minerais critiques et
agreement
les terres rares
on
pour avoir
critical
une discussion
minerals
d'ensemble
and rare
sur ce
earths
texte. Ça, je
and
pense que
to
c'est un point
speak
très
together
important.
about that matter. That's a
La
very
deuxième
important
chose,
step
nous avons,
forward.
dans le
Second
cadre de la
thing
discussion,
is that during our
rentré dans le
discussions,
détail
we were able to go
la
into some of
proposition
the
d'action que
details
nous
about
venions
the
faire,
proposal that
de
we have just
comment
made
la paix ou une trêve, des éléments concrets,
to have
mesurables,
a
pouvaient être
truce,
organisés
a peace,
et comment
and
ensuite
be
on
able
pouvait
to
structurer
measure
la
that
discussion.
and then structure our discussions on that basis.
Pays européens,
France and
l'Ukraine
several
sont
other
évidemment
European
maintenant
countries,
au travail
along with
pour pouvoir
Ukraine, are
bâtir
hard
ce
at
qui est
work
cette paix durable
to build
avec
this
des éléments
lasting
très
peace
concrets dans
with
lesquels
very
il y aura
specific
justement les
points,
garanties de sécurité, les
including
questions
security
territoriales qui appartiennent totalement à
guarantees,
l'Ukraine,
the
la question de la
territories that
reconstruction, la
belong to
question
Ukraine,
du potentiel
the issue of
économique et des minerais rares.
reconstruction,
Donc là-dessus,
the
on
economy,
discutait en détail
and
de ces
critical
propositions
minerals.
d'action.
We've been able to go into
Et troisième
the
avancée qui est
details
pour moi
of those proposals. The
vraiment un
third
des
They
area
gotta
of
ask him more
progress,
questions in
which
English, man.
et qui marque un tournant,
really
c'est la
mark a
précision avec
turning
I
laquelle
feel
nous
like in
avons parlé
French,
des
it's
garanties.
like
is the fact that we were
like a
able to talk about
multiplier.
the
Et je
details
pense
of the
que le président a
security
eu lui-même tout à l'heure et
guarantees.
encore aujourd'hui à l'instant des mots
The
très
It's
clairs.
like 3 times as long of an
Has
answer.
shown this over the past
Nous
few
voulons
days,
la
and he
paix, on est
said so a
totalement
moment ago.
d'accord.
We want peace. He
Nous voulons un
wants
deal
peace.
rapide,
We want peace,
mais pas un,
Yeah.
peace
mais pas un accord
swiftly, but we
qui
don't
soit
want an
fragile.
agreement that is
Et
weak.
le fait qu'il y ait des Européens qui
The
soient
fact
prêts à
that there are
s'engager pour
Europeans
apporter
that
leur
are ready
réponse
to
à ces garanties de
engage
sécurité.
to
Et qu'il y ait une
provide for
clarté
these
maintenant du
security
message américain
guarantees.
sur
And
le
now
fait
there's
que
a
les
clear
États-Unis d'Amérique
American
comme alliés
message
étaient
that
prêts à
the
apporter
U.S.,
justement
as an
un soutien,
ally,
une
is
solidarité
ready to
à cette
provide
approche qui
that
est pour
solidarity
moi un
for
tournant.
that approach. That's
Et
a
c'était
turning point in my
un des
view.
acquis de
And
ce
that is one
déplacement
of
et
the
de nos discussions.
great areas of progress
Pour
that
ce
we've
qui est,
made during
et
this
pour-
trip and
je vais
during
ici
this
clarifier les
discussion.
choses, on a pu par le
When it
passé,
comes to troops, in the
en
past,
particulier il y a un an,
a
à
year
des
ago
fins qui étaient à
specifically,
mes yeux pleinement légitimes,
we
évoquer la possibilité
saw
d'envoi de
a
troupes dans un
reason
contexte de
to
guerre.
talk about
C'était
sending
pour relever
troops
l'incertitude stratégique.
to
Là, quand on parle de
for
troupes, on en
strategic
parle le lendemain de la
regions.
négociation
Today,
d'une
when we talk
discussion de
about
paix
troops,
durable.
we're talking about sending
Et donc,
them
une
in
fois
after
qu'il y a
we've negotiated
une
a
paix
lasting
solide,
peace.
durable,
And once we
négociée,
have that
signée par
solid,
l'Ukraine
lasting
et la
peace
Russie,
that's part of an agreement signed by
dont nous
Ukraine,
serons
signed
collectivement
by
les garants.
Russia, and for which we will provide the
La France
guarantees.
a travaillé
at
avec
that
le Royaume-Uni ces dernières semaines
And
pour
recently,
dire nous,
France
on est
has
prêts à
worked
contribuer.
with
Donc on a
the
eu un plan qui a
UK
été discuté
to
entre nos
provide its
entités militaires pour
contributions.
dire nous, on est
We've
prêts.
worked on plans, we've worked
Pas
with our
d'aller sur le front,
militaries,
pas aller
not
sur
to go
dans
to
des
the front
territoires
lines,
contestés ou occupés,
not to go
mais
into
à marquer
occupied
notre
territories,
soutien
but
pour nous assurer
as
que la
a
paix
show
telle que
of
négociée et signée par
support
les deux
to
parties
show that we have a negotiated
préservée.
peace signed by both sides,
Et donc,
and that is a
ce
peace
sont des
we will
déploiements, si je
preserve.
puis dire, totalement
So
pacifiques,
these
non
would
engagés
be
dans des combats,
peaceful
mais qui
deployments
sont,
of
si je puis
troops,
dire, des
not
déploiements
for
de force de
combat.
garantie.
These would be
Elles
deployments
sont,
of
par
an
définition,
assurance
limitées, mais elles marquent
force.
une
They would be
solidarité.
limited, but they show
J'ai échangé, je vous l'ai
solidarity.
dit, avec tous nos alliés. Il y a
I've also
plusieurs pays
spoken with all
européens et
of
non
our
européens qui
allies,
sont
and
prêts
there
à
are
participer à
European
cet
and
effort.
non-European allies who are ready and
Les
willing
uns
to take
en
part in that
continuant à aider
effort.
l'armée ukrainienne à maintenir ses
Countries have
capacités,
helped
à être
Ukraine
dans la durée
maintain
en termes
its
de nombre
military
de soldats ou en termes
capabilities
d'équipement.
in terms of the number of
Les
soldiers
autres,
it has, equipment,
par la logistique,
whereas
les
others
capacités sur
have
le terrain,
provided
d'autres aussi à
logistical
venir à nos côtés.
support on the
La
ground.
question à tous, c'était est-ce que c'est d'accord
The question
avec les États-Unis
is
d'Amérique? Le
whether
président a eu des mots très
or
forts
in
là,
what
pour dire oui
form
et pour
the
même d'ailleurs
U.S. will
nous apprendre que dans les
contribute,
discussions
and
qui étaient en
during
cours
our
avec la Russie,
discussions,
c'était acceptable dans les
during the
échanges qu'il y a eu avec
discussions
la
with
Russie.
Russia, we've
Et
understood
donc
that
ça,
this
c'est
would be
une avancée
acceptable
très forte,
to
et donc
Russia.
ça veut
That's
dire
a
que
very
les Européens
important area of
prennent dans ce
progress,
contexte
and that means
leur
that in
part
this
du fardeau.
context,
Parce
the Europeans will
on
shoulder
s'engage, on
their
avance,
part of the
qu'on
burden,
garde ce qui est la
their
force de notre
share
alliance
of the
à travers les
burden.
décennies,
We
qui
have a
est
strong alliance
notre
that we've built
solidarité
over
et du
the
coup la
decades. We
capacité
have
de
our
dissuasion
solidarity,
que
and
nous
we
avons
have
ensemble.
deterrence
Et donc non, ça
capacities.
n'est pas dangereux parce qu'en fait, Qu'est-ce que ça signifie?
What does it mean? Would it be dangerous?
Qu'il y a un accord qui va être signé par l'Ukraine et la
If
Russie.
there is an agreement
Please
signed by
ask
the
us two
Ukraine
questions in
and
English.
Russia,
Nous sommes
thanks to the
les garants,
efforts of
et qu'en
President
quelque
Trump,
sorte, si la
and if
Russie
we
venait à le violer,
provide the
elle
guarantees and
rentrerait de
Russia
facto
violates the
en
agreement,
conflit
then
avec tous ceux qui
it
se
would
sont
be
engagés dans un
It'd be
processus
bad.
de paix.
in conflict with everyone who is
Et ça,
engaged
c'est
in
un
the
changement.
peace
Yeah.
process.
Ça
And
n'a
that
jamais existé
is
ces dernières années.
a change.
C'est pas ce qu'on avait
That
fait
was
en
something we
2014.
did not see in the past.
Et
That's
donc,
not what
c'est
we
ça,
saw
la
in
vraie rupture.
2014.
C'est
So
d'avoir quelque
that
chose de
is
solide
the
avec
real
la capacité de
change that we're
dissuasion
marking. We have this
américaine,
deterrence capacity
la
on the
capacité
American
d'engagement
side.
des
We have
Européens, et quelque chose qu'on
the
va justement
capacity for
organiser ensemble.
engagement on the
Voilà.
European
Donc, c'est
side,
pas
and that's
dangereux,
something
mais
we're going
c'est
to continue
crédible.
working on together. It's not
Et ça
dangerous,
nous
but it's
semble
credible.
moins dangereux que des choses qui iraient beaucoup plus loin en
It's
termes
less
juridiques.
dangerous than things
Et
that
ça
could
nous semble
happen
ce que nous
in the
devons
long
faire pour
term.
garantir
And I
la
think this
sécurité.
is what we
Et
need to
je
do
veux
to
dire ici très
ensure
clairement,
security.
c'est
And
la
I say this
sécurité
very
aussi
clearly.
des Européens
We're
dont il
also
s'agit.
talking about
Et moi, c'est ce que je
security
dis depuis
for
des semaines.
Europeans. I've been
Si
saying
on ne
this for
garantit
weeks
pas la
now.
sécurité
If we
de
do
cette part du
not
territoire
guarantee the
de l'Europe,
security of this territory
comment
within Europe,
garantir
then
notre
how
propre
can we
sécurité
guarantee
à
our
tous?
own security for one
Nous,
and
nous
all?
vivons
That's true.
à 1500 km
That's true. He
We
right.
de l'Ukraine.
live just
C'est encore
1,500
plus près quand on est
kilometers
évidemment
from
polonais ou allemand.
Ukraine.
Donc c'est notre
And
engagement pour la
The
sécurité
Germans and
collective.
Polish are
Et en
even
quelque sorte, c'est
closer.
répondre aussi
So
à
our
l'appel qui nous est
collective
fait. Vous
security
devez
is
prendre,
important.
vous devez
We
vous, autres
need to
Européens,
answer
être davantage
this
engagés.
call
Mais
for
nous, Américains,
Europeans
nous
to be
restons
more
en solidarité.
engaged, and
On le fait en Ukraine, et on
Americans
doit le
will
faire
be
aussi pour
there
notre sécurité
still
collective.
in
Mais la
solidarity.
clarification
Europeans
qu'on a
are
eu
working
aujourd'hui pour moi
for
est
their
importante.
collective security,
What
but I
the
really
fuck is
think
a
this was a turning
kilometer?
point today in our discussions.
So true.
Emmanuel, thank you very much. Great job, and it's been wonderful being with you. Say hello to your beautiful wife, and we will see you again soon. We'll be speaking often. We'll get this thing worked out. We're going to get it done. So important, and great job.
Thank you.
Man. All right. Dabbed up? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, well, there it is. Classic Trump Poland, yeah, I guess so. And didn't want to address that, I guess? I guess not. Trying to overpower him with a handshake? No, apparently, right? We'll see if there's any more of this later on. And damn, what's the conclusion? Well, there's gonna be some sort of resolution that's gonna happen. Like, as I said before, I feel like there's no way this ends and Putin doesn't at least get something, right? But I don't know. Maybe that won't happen. But that's what I'm betting on. That's what I'm guessing about, right? I'm not sure. Something will happen eventually? Yeah. Can we talk about where he gets the 3.5 billions from? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I have no idea. Russia and USA is the strongest bond? I guess so, right? But yeah, he's getting you. Oh, so you think that he's going to get Ukraine? So like the win-win situation is where America wins and then Russia wins?
Don't disconnect anything.
So that's like whenever it's referring to the win-win situation, that's the. Yeah. Okay. Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Joy Reid having a breakdown, crying on X? Nah, it sounds like bullshit to me. There's no way that happened. That'd be too cinema for it to happen. Like, I don't believe it. Yeah. Where is it? Where is it? She is. Nope. I don't believe it. I want to see it. I don't believe it. Where do it be? Where do it be? I do not see it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. Damn. Anyway, bro, do French just talk like that? Because, man, he really goes on a bit, right? I mean, like, I thought Trump was crazy. Like, he really does that a lot. He got a lot of things to say. He's long-winded. He sure is, man. He really is. He got a lot to get into. But anyway, I'll look into this video that she did. So she put out this video and she's crying about, damn, so she doing a podcast now. Okay, that's good. So all politicians speak a lot? Yeah, I guess so. Why do you think the British beat the French? I think the French beat the British, bro. Like now, cause like you gotta think about it, bro. They pulled that Machiavelli shit where like they helped the U.S. collectively overpower Britain in the Revolutionary War, and now we're not. Who the fuck think about Britain, bro? Like, it's about the United States. Yeah, that's it, bro. Like, yeah, Napoleon. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, these are our oldest allies. Yeah, if it wasn't for France, we might not even be the U.S. Shouldn't care about white tears. Well, no, we're gonna look at the rest of it, right? And anyway, they gave you the imperial system. Yeah, exactly. And so we got somebody right now about this Joy Reid. So her show got canceled. Now, Low Life. It got canceled. Her 10 viewers will be devastated. And yeah, well, let's see. We're gonna go to this, right? Low Life, chairman of Concast. Holy fuck. Of Concast, Brian Roberts, the owner of Ratings Challenged NBC. It's called Ratings Challenged? What are you trying to say with that shit? Has finally gotten up the nerve to fire one of the least talented people in television, the mentally obnoxious racist Joy Reid. Based on her ratings, which were virtually non-existent, she should have been, quote, canned long ago. Along with everyone else who works there, also thrown out was Alex Wagner, the sub on the seriously failing Rachel Maddow show. Rachel rarely shows up because she knows there's nobody watching. And she also knows that she's got less television persona than virtually everyone on television except perhaps Joy Reid. There's, of course, all the low IQ con man Al Sharpton, who has perhaps the lowest TV ratings in the history of television. What is he doing to Brian Roberts to stay on the air? This whole corrupt operation is nothing more than an illegal arm of the Democrat Party. They should be forced to pay vast sums of money for the damage they've done to our country. Fake news is an unpardonable sin. Oh my God. Oh wow. Okay, so she put out a video. She got her shit canceled, and now she's mad. Let's watch it.
My show had value, and
apparently not. If it did, it wouldn't have got canceled.
That I'm sorry. That that what I was doing had value.
Well, if it did, then why they fire you? If you got a lot of people watching you, you wouldn't have got fired. You got fired because people didn't watch you because what you said was stupid. It's simple, right? I mean, what are you crying about?
And value, and in the end, I'm sorry. I try not to cry on TV, and I say this is kind of like being on TV, so I apologize. And that
the funny thing is, probably more people going to see this than her show.
It kind of, and then it mattered. I see Karen is there, and she's been texting me as well. And so what I will just say is that in the end, thank you. Where I land is that the moment that of guilt that I felt, that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, that or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life and defended them.
See, the reason you got canceled is because people know that's fucking bullshit. Like, you can't go and say that your parents immigrated. That like it's the same thing as somebody that illegally comes over the border. Like, what are you talking about? Everybody sees through this shit.
Or whether we've talked about what the president is doing that is subversive to the Constitution, that is injurious to our liberty, you know, defending books that people find inconvenient, you know, that Nicole Hannah-Jones put into our spirit, that we need to understand 1619 as the real founding of...
What book is being made illegal? Like, what are you talking about, books?
This country, whether it's
1619 is the real founding of the country. How could that happen? It wasn't a country then. It was just colonies. Like, what? That's not even. What? How do you even say that?
talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza and the fact that we as the American people have a right to object, to little babies being bombed. And where I come down on that is I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God.
So her saying that she's not sorry, it means that she kind of knows that she got canned for being shitty. She got canned because she sucks. People didn't like her. Like, that's kind of like that's the vibe I'm getting out of this. Like, she knew what it was.
And you know, I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
Well, that's at least one person that is. So she crying about this, getting mad that she got kicked off MSNBC. Well, we gotta look at it. Watch.
There's a thing about both white vigilantism and white tears, particularly male white tears. Really white tears in general, because that's what Karens are, right? They Karen out, and then as soon as they get caught, it's like, Green Waterworks.
Mm-hmm.
White men can get away with that too, and it has the same effect. My show had value, and that, I'm sorry, that
a new realm of
what I
power.
was doing had value. And
I
in
guess
the end,
not,
I
bitch.
try not to cry on TV. There's a
I guess not. Oh, that's too bad, ain't it? Wow. Wow, another racist bitch canned. What a good day. Thank God. Thank God we have one more obnoxious, divisive, racist piece of shit put in the fucking garbage. That is where you belong, and that is where you will stay. No one cares. No one wants to hear it. You've got a small subset of equally racist, equally delusional, maladjusted retards that watch this shit, and everybody else thinks that you're ridiculous. And if they didn't, you wouldn't have got kicked off your own show. And that's it. It's emotional guilt. Yep, that's it. And so, Christian but racist? No, that's the way it is. And she gonna get upset about this this is the most beautiful thing you'll ever watch. Remember when she said she didn't give a damn about white women tears? Yeah, why people give a fuck about you? Like, what is this? What I was doing had value. It's crazy. And if you think what you do has value, I'm sure there's some people that think that. So why don't you just go and start up a podcast? Go and, why don't you stream on Twitch? Why don't you make YouTube videos? Why don't you go like, how's Don Lemon doing anyway? Where's Don Lemon? How's he doing? Don Lemon, there it is. How's his show doing? How he doing? 3 days ago, he got 14K, 30K, democracy is failed, 4 days, shit. I think I see what the problem is, guys. Yeah, so you can be like Don Lemon. What's wrong with that? He got his own show, he doing his own thing. How about that? He got 4,000 views. Yeah, so what's wrong with that? It's really embarrassing forgetting it as it was on TV. Yeah, it's just, so he's getting the same amount of views that he did on CNN. It's an upgrade from CNN. And you remember, like, and look at what happened, right? Is like a while ago, and he's putting up a bunch of stuff. He's releasing content like crazy. He's working, and look at this one got 500,000 views 10 months ago. So this dude is unironically falling off. So it all started with the Elon Musk interview, and then this had 3 million views 11 months ago. And so the Don Lemon show, let's go. We're gonna look at the Social Blade for this. Social Blade. Let's see. We're gonna pull it up. The Don Lemon Show. Oh man, 18 million views. That's it? Well, it looks like he doing all right now. He doing all right now. He doing okay. Where'd all these views come from? Where'd all these where'd the views coming from? He didn't even do anything. I don't know. It's bot. You think he's botting? Because it sure seems like nobody's watching this shit. I don't know, guys. You got a 200,000 view video, 14. Nah, some of it seems real. I don't know. Shorts? Oh. That's what it is. He's putting out a bunch of shorts. I get it. Yes, yes, that's where he's coming from. And so, well, yeah, hopefully that's gonna work. And farming the shorts. A lot of people are falling for this Elon bullshit. Well, anyway, yeah. So look at Don Lemon. He's doing okay on YouTube. Why don't you go over to YouTube and record and do all that? And so, man, turns out calling your political opponents racist every night for an hour doesn't get viewers. It doesn't. And it's sad, man. It really is.
Georgia in the presidential race, Donald Trump has prevailed. Sure. You now see the home and wait till tomorrow.
And nothing that was true yesterday about how flawlessly this campaign was run is not true now. I mean, this really was an historic, flawlessly run campaign. Queen Latifah never endorses anyone. She came out and endorsed. You know, I mean.
You said your show had value? Oh, God. Oh, God, bro. Like, how much would you bet against Joy ending up on The View within a week? I think she'd fit right in, man. Like, that's what I think. I think, yeah, she wanted to do that. She fit right in. Why not? And it's just, like, I can't see why it isn't. Value for the small-minded. Yeah, great value toilet paper. I guess so, right? Definitely historic how they lost the popular vote. It is. It hasn't happened in 20 years. It's impressive. So, yeah, she crying and getting upset about this, making people feel sorry for her. And, yeah, really, it's no surprise. And I just got to say, Rip Bozo. That's where we're at, Rip Bozo. And now you can make YouTube videos and maybe go and interview people and make YouTube shorts like Don Lemon. And, you know, that's all you ever going to be. That's it. And she got even worse hairline than you. I mean, it seems that way, right? But, man, I'm so glad a rich Hollywood celeb told me what to think. Well, to be fair, I mean, she's not a celebrity, right? If she was, she wouldn't have had her show canceled. But, hey, you know, it's close enough. I see what you're trying to get at. I see what you're trying to say. But, yeah. Do you think YouTube is still pretty young from now on? I think right now YouTube is in a situation where people don't take YouTube as seriously. But I do think that YouTube has probably a bigger reach than any cable network does. There's probably more people watching YouTube than any cable network, and probably I wouldn't be surprised if it has more reach than all the cable networks put together, all the news networks put together. So, like, because it's a global thing that anybody can access, and like you can just get it on your phone and there's no paywall to it. So it's just that simple. So if they want to cry and get upset about this, just go to YouTube. It's got more people. So like if you can't exist, then that's your problem. So yeah, I think it's funny that she's crying. I think it's great, and honestly, I think this is a Rip Bozo situation and not a moment too soon. And I can't wait to see her show on YouTube. Look at the views, see how unpopular it actually is, and just kind of. Yeah, I think it's great. Yeah, this is isn't Tucker's show bigger now than it was on Fox? I don't know, because like they don't post like viewer count, right? And so it's hard really to say. So yeah, not a moment too soon. Yeah, exactly. And Piers Morgan popped off on YouTube. Yeah, and he's still on cable. Piers Morgan is doing work. Anyway, even ChatGPT knows what's up. Between Asmongold and Hassan Piker, I would trust Asmongold more. Wow. Wow. I was actually going to watch the video about this, about apparently, so Hassan went on Trash Taste. So this didn't go very well at all. I'll watch it right now. We're going to get into it. Let's take a look at it. And let's see. So Trash Taste, for anybody who doesn't know, is probably the most popular anime podcast right now in the world. And it's got a few guys on it. You know, Sea Dog. I'm not sure about the other. Giguk. I watched a couple of his videos. I don't know about the third guy. I forgot his name. But I know at least I watched 2 of their videos before. They're pretty decent dudes. And they talk about anime. They decided to bring Hassan on the podcast. And this is what happened.
So on February 21st, Hassan was on the Trash Taste podcast. And there's a flood of backlash in the comment section about Trash Taste having this dude on their show.
Well, let me see. I'll pull it up right now. I'll pull it up before Trash Taste. So it's actually getting way more unpopular. Like yesterday, it had 16,000 to 15,000 likes, and it actually still had a positive like ratio. Now it's 18,000 to 28,000. So this show is like absolutely fucking like getting ratioed like crazy. That's nuts. That's brutal, man. Oh my God. You'd think that you'd think that they'd be more positive to somebody who interviewed Luffy, but I guess not.
Hassan is aware of the backlash and he does not seem happy, making a number of responses addressing it. So let's take a look at all this stuff and let me know what you think. First off, some analytics. The video currently has 293,002.
God damn. God damn. Wow. And look at it now. That's in one day, bro. A singular day. People going wild.
With 15,566 dislikes, giving it a 49% dislike ratio. And this is after Hassan directed his viewers to essentially combat what he's calling the brigading. So presumably,
I think that's fine.
before he did that, this was an even worse ratio. I'll show you the clip where he does issue that statement. Once again, we'll go over all that stuff, and these analytics are provided by jabrek.net. First, a brief clip of the podcast itself. Just seems fitting to play at least like, a short portion of that. Then we'll take a look at some of the comments so you can get some more of the context.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Trash Taste. I'm joined once again by the boys, and we have a returning guest because you're back in Japan now.
Hell yeah, I'm here permanently now. I'm excited. This time it's for real.
He's self-deported?
For real? Yeah, now that my country's on fire, I chose Japan to just stay here.
Okay.
All right.
Whoa. But yeah, we got Hassan. He's back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no politics, sorry.
Yeah.
No politics, all right? I don't want to hear it.
I love how they can't get 30 seconds into the episode without this dude bringing politics up. Seriously.
I don't think that's fair. Like, cause he has the same thing that he does with Fear and with Will. Like, where they just don't talk politics. That's fair, because like, he's obviously the politics guy, right? Everybody knows him as the politics guy. So like, them saying that at the beginning, and him saying that at the beginning, I think that's fair. Right? Like, that's his job. Like, I'm, as I said, like, I'm always fair. Good and bad.
30 seconds. Anyways, taking a look at the top comments, we've got, I'd prefer my anime discussion not to involve a guy who celebrated the death of innocent civilians in no less than 2 different recent modern conflicts, and who carries water for authoritarian regimes and celebrates terrorists indiscriminately attacking civilian vessels at sea, abducting their crews, and who still stone women to death for not obeying their every command.
Thanks.
Another one saying, I've been a viewer of the Anime Man and Giguk for more than a decade. As a female viewer, I am absolutely disgusted seeing 3 men, the biggest...
I wonder if I went on the podcast, who would have a worse dislike ratio. I wonder what would happen. Me? Maybe, I don't know. I'm actually curious.
The anime YouTube space, happily endorsed an R-word apologist. I looked up to you guys when I was young. I thought you were I'm incredibly certain seeing this. And right below that comment, another one that reads, we thought having this knowledge is a good idea. This isn't just a simple drama that we report. That's like saying 9/11 is just drama. It should have been a lot of around having their guests to talk about their favorite religions.
Bro, these comments are out of pocket. Oh my god. It would be crazy. If Bin Laden was still around, there would be people that would invite him on a podcast and ask him about anime. I guarantee you that would happen.
Other comments talk about how people are dropping trash taste over this collab. For example, this was saying, fingers to the start on time right below that. Second, I can say with an absolute phenomenon that we did the rest of the we have one more experience that we
Victory is mine!
good friends that we're working on top of without changing the way we're working. It's been a good time listening to you, gentlemen, but this is the end of the road for me. I'll pray for your wisdom and discernment. Stay safe, boys. And right below that, another one.
Let me see if
reading.
this actually even affected them at all, right? If I pull this up, it seems like it didn't really do a whole lot. Is this the right one? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's stuff. It hasn't moved at all. Yeah, it's actually kind of weird. This is a weird graph. It's only been 3 days? Yeah, but like, one of the ways you can tell about this, if somebody does something wrong, is like you can tell if you look at the amount of people that are unsubbing, right? Because like if you see the amount of people that are unsubbing and you're like, oh wow, it's a big negative. Oh shit, right? That's bad. Yeah, the pattern is suspect. Yeah, I don't know. I was just curious.
This is the last thing produced by Trash Taste that I will ever watch.
Wow.
More comments talking about dropping Trash Taste right below those. For example, this one also been following both Joey and
Will of the Marike.
but now on to the right. Not gonna watch someone who's more terrorist.
Die forgotten.
Some of the comments that you can find by sorting by top comments. And it seems like there's thousands, if not tens of thousands of comments where people share similar sentiment. Interestingly enough, the pinned comment is from Trash Taste, and they say, we don't and have never deleted comments on any episode.
Yeah.
And this is because a number of people have been accusing them of deleting comments that are critical of Hassan. For example, this tweet that reads, Trash Taste is getting heat for having Hassan Piker on the podcast and then deleting comments critical of him.
Now we gotta talk a little bit about it. Y'all a lot of times get it right. But in a lot of times you don't really try to get it right. There's not any evidence of them deleting tweets or deleting comments. Like it's really, there's not any evidence. If you knew how the YouTube comment system worked, you would know that a lot of the words that people use whenever you're talking about political topics, especially ones that are really emotionally charged, you're going to have people using words like Nazi, terrorism, Hamas, rape. Like this kind, like these words are words that get comments deleted automatically by the auto mod that YouTube has. So to go and say that they're deleting the comments, I think you're really kind of taking a step, and I don't think that step is always what it is. It's like, yeah.
Victory is
that's all I'm
mine.
really trying to say. Like, and some of these accounts, like, y'all really need to try to get it a little bit more right. And I know mistakes happen, right? Mistakes happen, but it would be better if some of these accounts would just try to title it something that's a little bit more accurate, a little bit more. I thought you get a warning when that happens. I got notes myself. There's a lot of ways that it can happen. There's like different ways it can happen. Yeah, and like that's it. Personally don't like them, but I'm actually not sure they're bad actors. Like, I'm just giving my take about it from like YouTube, right?
Included our screenshot, and we'll take a look at these real quick. This one reading. sad to see they had to delete so many comments. I like Trash Taste, but this is very disappointing. In Tsushima, the second screenshot rating, deleting all the comments on Hassan is wild. And the next screenshot, funny how the comment section suddenly started defending Hassan after ripping him apart. Don't think we didn't know his top comment got rid. That account making a follow-up tweet that reads, "Crap, Reddit was over." Going on to quote, "First time seeing 50% white ratio on a trash account." Now the response starts.
Big mana.
Is the person actually taking a look at the fight screenshot? There's actually a lot more to that comment. The full comment reading. The first thing I did was taking out was scroll down the comments. There were hundreds of them expressing the fact that they did not like having Hassan back. Some of them had almost 1,000 people. Now those comments are, is the person who manages the channel actually doing? Please let this just be a YouTube glitch, because otherwise, wow, that would be low. As we already went over,
There is
Trash
power
Taste
in
made a
this
very
object.
brief response
I
denying
can
that any
feel it.
comments were deleted. Still, it's very interesting that comments on both Reddit
It's
and
just so hard to say, right? I mean, there's a chance that they did it, but as somebody who's familiar with YouTube's system, there's also a chance that they didn't. Like, I don't think that there's enough evidence really to say. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. How do you prove or
claim
disprove?
that
You
these
can't.
deletions are indeed happening.
You
even
can't.
on the Trash Taste subreddit itself. And so, as always, come to your own conclusions. Speaking of the Trash Taste subreddit, let's hop over there and take a look. Specifically, this post that reads,
Ooh.
"Seems like Hassan has brigaded his community to quote-unquote get in and actively counter the brigade." The comment section. And linking to a tweet that we'll take a look at next. As for the post itself, it got 563 upvotes before being locked by the moderators.
Locked.
With this mod leaving a pinned comment, a sticky comment rather, that says, "For anyone reading this, if you are not interested in talking about the actual content of the Trash Taste podcast episode, please don't make comments. All you're doing is making our volunteering harder, where we'll just have to lock certain posts and remove posts as well."
I think like this is it's a complicated topic because like, so when you cover a lot of like really divisive and controversial stuff, you become divisive and controversial. Like there's nobody who covers this kind of stuff that isn't like that. Like whether it's Hassan, Destiny, me, XQC, like anybody who talks about any of these controversial topics, they do have a huge amount of people that get mad about them, right? Like they do. And like that's how it always is. And the problem, like Aiden Ross, yeah, he's another good example. Aiden's definitely a good example. And so the issue is that if you go in, like there's a lot of people that view, they view things like Trash Taste or they view like content as non-political content. And it's disappointing because like, you know, there are people like Hassan likes anime. He likes watching anime. So it's disappointing that people can't separate, you know, like his enjoyment for one thing with like his, you know, collaboration with something they don't like, right? I mean, I think that's what happens with a lot of things is like, once somebody gets kind of like labeled like that and people don't like them like that, that's it, right? That's totally it. It's natural. Well, what I'm saying is like, this is how it happens, is that if you cover controversial topics like that, you're gonna get these comments. You will. Like, whether you, like, this is just the way it is. Like, it doesn't matter, like, whether you think that you should or not. Like, you cover controversial topics, you talk about things that are extreme, you are going to have people that are going to say this shit because they're going to be pissed off. That's it. It's one thing to disagree with advocating for terror. No, the thing is, like, everybody, like, the same people that you can say that, right? And, like, we can have a debate about that, and like I might agree with you. Like I watched the Ethan video, it was a 4-hour video, so if you want to hear my opinions about it, you can watch that video. But my point is that at a very base level, if you are a controversial content creator, you are going to have problems interacting with people that are not. And the reason why is because a lot of people use video content, like things like Trash Taste, as an escape from the real world. They use it as a, like, it's kind of like the same argument that I used with like woke video games. So if you bring on somebody who's like extremely controversial, you know, politically minded, etc., you're going to alienate a lot of those people because those people aren't going to be able to make that separation. And like, that's just how it is. And the reason, by the way, like, I'm speaking in terms of myself as well. Like, there's a lot of people that I'm friends with privately, but like, they don't want to do shit with me publicly because of like all the drama that I'm involved with, right? And I think that makes sense. Like, and I don't really think like, because you gotta keep in mind, like, this is their job. This is their job. It's their career. And so like, am I gonna ask somebody to like fucking like put your career at risk because of like me? Like, what is this? Like, no, bro. Like, this is your job. It's your life. And so I totally understand it. I totally get it. But pussies, they're not pussies. They just like. Everybody does things that they wouldn't do normally because of their employment. That's just how it is. That's life. There are people that wear uniforms, people that, you know, report to bosses that they don't like, and they are polite and cordial with them, even though they wish they could tell them to fuck off. That's life. They're pussies? No, I mean, to a degree, I agree. And I actually think the world would be a better place if nobody took any of these comments about anybody seriously, and everybody just let anybody talk about anything, and nobody gave a fuck, and people just thought about the ideas and the conversations rather than getting fixated on it. I agree. I think that's true. But that doesn't mean that other people are going to think the way that I do, right? And so, yeah. Pussies flexible, so have time for harassment? Yeah, I guess so, right? And everyone has had to pretend that they don't hate somebody at work. Yeah, exactly. And so that's really what happens. And yeah, it's interesting hearing a song talk about anime would be hearing Jeffrey Dahmer talk about cooking. I mean, if somebody did a podcast with Jeffrey Dahmer about cooking, I feel like that would be really popular. Yeah, I would watch that. I would watch that. But my point is that, my point is that, like, you know, I see this. And the reason why I'm kind of sympathetic to it is because the same thing happens to me. Like when I go, like, for example, like Pirate Software. Remember whenever I did that video with Pirate Software, and a lot of people were mad at him, and like they were going crazy on Twitter about me collabing with Pirate Software. So like the reason why I see this and I think about this is like I go and I'm like, oh man, well, this is kind of like what's happened with me, right? And so that's why I'm a little bit more sympathetic. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm sure that's going to help the situation.
Yeah.
Well, this presents a very fun opportunity. Let's take a look at some of the top comments on that post that the mod apparently
But you shouldn't be surprised, by the way. You should not be surprised. If people don't want to deal with you or like you get a negative reaction like this is just how it is. Because you talk about topics that are like really personal to people and they get in there, right? They definitely get in there.
Like, well, at least one.
Your shit gets taken mostly out of context. Like, people have every right to be mad at Trash Taste for having Hassan on. You have every right to have that opinion. I'm not telling you can't have that opinion, but I'm talking about this in a general sense. Of course you have that right to your opinion. If everybody has a right to every opinion they want.
Mod or mods didn't yet remove. For example, this top response that talks about how pathetic it is to issue some kind of counter brigade, and how that's also a brigade. The next one reading, yeah, that was
the reason why Hassan's doing it. I'll tell you the reason why. I mean, maybe I'm mind reading, but I'm just thinking about it from my perspective. He's probably doing it because he wants to be able to collab and do stuff with these other people. But if enough people hate on it, the fact is that Trash Taste receives income. It is a capitalistic venture. It makes money. And so they're doing it for money. Like they would maybe do it, you know, like maybe they would do it for free, but they still have a harder time getting everything edited and getting everything shot, getting cameramen in there, having to make a set, etc. Right? So they're doing this for money. And the reason why is that if enough people don't like it, then it becomes not worth it to collaborate. Because, like, for example, Elon Musk, for example, or like Donald Trump, like, that's like a huge amount of popularity, but it's also a huge amount of hate. But because they're so popular, it's like a net positive. And so, if other people feel like collaborating with you is a net negative, they're not going to want to collaborate with you. And then you get alienated, then you have people that won't defend you,
There is power
don't get kind of like, you know, separated.
I can feel it.
Concentrating on just polemic or promoting killing people. No, I'm just saying, like, that's the reason why he's trying to do that. Because if you don't do that, then these people that are on the show are going to think to themselves, well, we don't want to lose money. We don't want to have people hate our show. I don't want to bring this guy on again when the last time we brought him on, everybody got mad. You see what I'm saying? So, like, that's the reason why Hassan would do that. It makes sense.
And this one's saying, we wait for another Connor Demon Girl short video. Yeah. Right below that, this comment reading, great. Another creator telling his community to counteract that hate. Looks like this is going to be more than a 12-hour drama.
Just been off of
Then there's this one that reads, of all the things he could have done to calm the flame, he just sends it into a blaze. This one's really funny because of how things played out. So this comment says, kill them on A, ban con for gaming.
Not yet.
Just post, huge everything.
Yeah.
Out, it was actually option B, block the post, ban thread to remove comments.
Oh,
yeah.
I think that you should allow people to discuss this kind of stuff. Like, in general, like, I can understand that hate threads, like, not really want to be
Die forgotten.
But, like, I generally don't even delete a lot of hate threads on my thing. I'll give you an example, right? And so, let me see if I can find on my subreddit. Like, now, I'm not saying that I never delete hate threads. Like, of course I've done it before whenever I feel like they get a little personal or they get a little weird or whatever. But, like, let me just go and I'll give you an example. There's the Trump fucking so like this has 3,000 comments. A lot of these comments are Amber Heard, not single events, a lot of these comments are negative, right? It was based, like you keep going. I mean, Trump's funny, I think so too. But anyway, last Amber Heard Johnny Depp was entertaining. Generally don't get how people can sit through it. So like a lot of people are being critical on the subreddit, but like this is about the content of the event, right? It's about the content of the stream. And so like if people don't like that, that's fine. Trump's a content machine, MS Transcon competitions, Blu-rays, yeah, people are not happy about it. And so like you have to let people have with the orange membranes, I get that. And like I've read some of these comments, I read some of them, I read other ones, and you can see like this is moderation. Like I have like moderator account, and so like you'd see if people had their like accounts deleted or banned or whatever.
A rare treasure.
And that's not really it. And so anyway, basically like there's always been people saying to stop watching it, right? I mean, this is always how it is. So like I let these go through. Now like at a certain point it could be too much, right? But especially if it's somebody's criticizing the content of the content of the content. Sorry, that might sound stupid or like redundant. What I mean is like the actual content itself, and it's not being made personal or like, oh, this guy's a piece of shit or a liar or whatever. It's not personal. Then like you have to let people say that kind of stuff, because if you don't, then it's not like those people are going to go away. They're just going to get more radicalized and get more angry. You see what I'm saying?
Context, let's hop over to the tweet that was linked.
So we didn't lock that. And like the only thing we locked, by the way, recently was Ukraine-Russia conversation. And that's because I thought there were bots and weird fucking, like, I don't know, some like KGB shit going on. And I didn't even lock that in a meeting about it. I locked the entire topic because I didn't want people talking about it. Because I thought it was sus. And that was only for a week. That's what I direct his audience to quote-unquote get him an accident. Yeah.
President Piker has hit the trash page. Why would you do this?
Uh-oh.
Aaron Yorker. Bad. I get irritated from just seeing his face. The guy has said so many profoundly idiotic things that I honestly cannot listen to a word from him. The Virginia Council. Get in and actively counter.
It's not dislike botted. If you have 20,000 comments like that, it's not dislike botted. Dislike botted, like and dislike botted. Like comment would not be the same. It's not botted. We will have what is ours.
That's using chat trying to explain all this like dislike bot. It's just a hype. But wait, there's another thing. Tattletale Hassan, who's out of touch, which
the era of the Farragut is now! Posterity vengeance!
Look at like what they're saying, and they just can't comprehend how like journalists are still covering this guy in a positive way. What the f is going on? And it's like, dude, why do you think? You think like a 40-year-old journalist has no political convictions of their own? Like you think they're gonna be deluded by like a drama farmer on YouTube, like a slop tuber, and be like, wow, this is a real bad guy?
I don't think that there's actually as big of a difference between journalism and slop content on YouTube. I'm going to be honest. I really don't think so. I think that like a lot of things that pass for journalism immediately go to YouTube. And in fact, I actually think that a lot of the slop content on YouTube is better. That's why when a lot of journalists go to YouTube, they end up getting no views. It's because people don't want to listen to it and people think they're full of shit. And so the problem is that with a lot of these journalists and these people that do this stuff, they do have political convictions, but the problem is that those convictions are not popularly held. And that's the issue. And I think that I think that's the fundamental problem that exists with like kind of the difference between like media and the public, is that the media is trying to push forward a narrative that the public doesn't agree with and respect. And like, I think that's what's making the public angry, because if you want me to be honest, like, who do you think really is getting more views on these things, right? Is this random newspaper that's having like every single metric for this newspaper is going down? Do you think that's what's getting more views, or do you think that this video that's getting millions of views on YouTube is getting views, right? I mean, which one do you think more people are seeing?
You think they haven't seen internet harassment campaigns before?
Yeah.
You are so out of touch, holy hell. No, brother, I'm not the one who's out of touch.
Oh.
The people that are going, we hate you because we think this person is an evil person, me, okay? We think your friend that you know better, okay, is actually secretly an evil person because we've seen YouTube videos from rabid haters. Is an active line of attack. The assumption that
this guy's getting banned.
You, as a random commentator, a random commenter online, is not out of touch, but I am, because what you expect in terms of like retaliation towards someone like myself is not matching the reality is hilarious.
I can't believe how...
I think that like to an extent that's true, right? Where like you have it to where, like, obviously, I think, again, like, the reason why I'm sympathetic to at least a little bit of this is that it happens to me a lot. And I have my friends get harassed because they interact with me. And it's like, who do you think knows me better? The person that's spent, you know, like 100 hours with me in real life, or somebody who's watched 5 clips on the internet? But at the end of the day, if somebody sees a clip that bothers them and makes them mad, that's not going to matter to them. And also, I think that there's a big component to it where there's there's a third option here, which is that the people that are platforming these individuals, right, whether it's Hassan or me or somebody else, actually hold those same views and feel the same way about it. And I think that's another really big component that's not being discussed, is that bringing somebody on like this, a lot of times what happens is that people like this are brought on who are very controversial, but it's only people that are on one side of the controversial spectrum. So when you're only bringing on people that are on one side of the controversial spectrum, that means that you probably agree with that side of the controversial spectrum a lot more. Like any logical, reasonable person, like, humans have evolved millions of years to see patterns. How do you not see that pattern? You see what I'm saying? It's divisive. Yeah, exactly. I mean, of course that's what it is.
Perfect backflip is. Dude's really trying to sound not out of touch by citing journalists. Like, oh, 40-year-old journalists support me, as if the opinion of some random journalists prove he's a morally good and not out of touch person. He doesn't even realize that the majority of people despise journalists and don't trust them. Probably one of the most out of touch things he actually could have said to choose for his argument.
Yeah, the journalists are not... Journalism nowadays is activism. Most people are not interested in relaying the truth. they're interested in trying to push an agenda. And I think it becomes readily evident when you have lie campaigns, like, for example, the campaign about, like, Black Myth Wukong. It was a complete lying campaign. And it's pushed universally with every single group with no pushback. It's because these people are playing on a team. There's not an objective viewpoint here. No, he just severely underestimates how many people actively dislike him. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't like... I mean, it's very simple, right? I mean, if you look at, like, the elections, you look at, like, a lot of people's opinions, it definitely seems like way less people are agreeing with, like, any sort of, like, super leftist point of view. I think that you're seeing, like, a massive, like, cultural shift away from that. And I think that's just the truth, right? You can like it or hate it, but that is the truth.
Apparently not being
so if you have these opinions that nobody agrees with and, like, the culture is moving away from, you're going to get a lot of negative feedback.
And lastly, there's this that is, but he looks like he's actually still going on about the whole advertisement. So let's take it.
You didn't break a sweat.
That you genuinely believe that considered lolcow, right? Anyone that is a normal human being who goes outside. That's the problem. You're the 40-year-old dude on Twitter right now being like, you're the one who's
I need more time.
You are one of the most popular content creators on Twitter. I still think me and my homies think you're a bad guy. The more you don't do that, the more you don't see it the way that you do, the more you just make up conspiracies in your mind. You can say womp womp all day, but the real womp is happening to you, old man. Calm down.
Why does he keep using this whole, like, 40...
Use it again. So anyway,
there is power in
what was
this
he even
object.
talking about? Oh, being a
I
lol
can
cow.
feel it.
I have to kind of agree. Like, I feel like when I think of a lol cow, I think of somebody who's, like, not really very popular, but, like, their only popularity is, like, people disliking them. And even if you don't like Hassan, it's readily evident that a lot of people do. And so, like, when I think of a lol cow, I think about somebody who has, like, almost no, like DSP, Wings of Redemption, you know, somebody like that, right? Like that one guy that they say looks like me. What the fuck is his name? And yeah, whatever. Yeah, like Boogie, right? Something like that. Chris Chan. Yeah, there you go. And look, your God, Cyrex. There it is. Yeah, there's the word. And so, I don't categorize people like Pirate Software or Hassan as lolcows, because I view lolcows as people that are just, like, really not popular for anything else other than even hating them. But, you know, again, that's up for debate. That's just my personal internet definition of it.
Thing. Like, oh yeah, 40-year-old journalist. And yeah, Madison Chatter named like a 40-year-old dude on Twitch. But anyways, I think it's really funny that
that's a very good point, by the way. Like, you're saying, like, old people are the ones that are credible in this case, but old people are the ones that are not credible in basically the same.
Victory is mine. Out of mana.
I think if you look on the show, like, somebody who's a good person, you can look at how much negative interactions they've had with other people that they've interacted with on a personal level. So, like, if, for example, you have somebody who all the time crashes out and they're like with other people, etc., then they're going to be the ones that are going to have the problem. Like, it's basically like, if you're the common denominator, you are probably also the problem. I'm not naming it. I see some names in chat I agree with, some names I don't agree with. Who knows what they are?
We'll take a look at is this tweet that says, Hassan rallies the troops in his Twitter community. The screenshot provided reading, yeah. I don't think it's all organic trash taste fans, to be honest. I got lots of weirdos roaming the web recently. It's okay to correct the record, in my opinion. They get away with saying a lot of totally ridiculous things. Everyone is capable of making up their mind if they simply watch the stream.
Again, this is like, it's something that's like partially true, but it's also true Hassan said a lot of out-of-pocket stuff. Like, I mean, both things were true. Like, I mean, people come to this conclusion by watching clips of what he says, too. Like, I mean, it's not that simple.
Yeah, people watch the stream and make up their own opinion, but when that opinion's negative, then it's not organic, it's not authentic. That can't be right. It's gotta be bots, it's gotta be brigading. Anyways, let me know what you think about this whole trash taste Hassan situation. I believe
and I do think that there are, I mean, again, like, I do think for sure there are people that are gonna go and they're not really trash taste fans, they're just Hassan anti-fans, and they're going to go and dislike the video because of that. Like, that's absolutely true. Anybody could assume that's true, of course. But that doesn't mean that the other people that are doing it, like, it doesn't mean that, like, their concerns are invalid.
Most important stuff that we went over. As always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed my coverage, and if you did, please consider liking and or subscribing. Have a great week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is what happens with a lot of people, and again, it's like if you cover like really controversial topics and you cover controversial content like this, what ends up happening is that you're going to alienate a lot of people. And that's what's happened with me, that's what's happened with Hassan. As I said, I can give a big list of people that, you know, there are probably a lot of people that would do more things with Hassan publicly if less people hated him. Like, just straight up. Straight up, that's the truth. Because you've got to keep in mind that, again, like, streaming is a job. You know, YouTube is a job. Like, whether you want to say, oh, it's our real job, yeah, but they're making money off of it, and they need that money to live. So whatever you want to call that, that's what it is. And so anyway, do they want to do something that gets in the way of that job? Because there's a lot of hate by association that happens. People have recently tried to do that with me. And it's very, very annoying to see it happen. That's why I have no problem with people distancing from me, because I understand the game and I know how it's played, right? I've streamed for a long time, and I have dealt with people trying to, like, people being, you know, two-faced this stuff my entire fucking life. It's really just another day on the job. So if you're being paid, it's a job. Yeah, exactly. Like, you could just speak from an American standpoint. Well, I'm not sure, right? But they get one of the most popular podcasts. I'm not sure how popular if you're in Logan is in, like, the grand scheme of things. I have no idea. But, like, my point is that I think in a lot of, you keep relating your situation to his, but your haters make things up about you while yours says the things that his haters claim. I think that that's, like, I mean, it's true also that people make stuff up about Hassan as well. And again, like, I think, like, if I agreed with Hassan about everything that he said, well, then I would just be Hassan. I'm clearly not. I clearly disagree with him. And if I have different viewpoints than he does about different issues, it very clearly means that I don't agree with what he's thinking in a lot of cases, right? Sure. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that the entire idea is the same. And so does that make sense? And that's why I relate it to myself. But yeah, I think that for a lot of these shows, especially shows that are about anime and like other types of escapism things, bringing somebody on that has like a really controversial reputation like Hassan, it's very risky, and you risk alienating your audience in a big way. And I've seen this happen with myself. I've seen it happen with him. And I think that it's going to happen with people more. And it's like with games. Yeah. And I think it is like with games, because isn't this kind of like, it's not the same thing, but it's like kind of the same thing as like how that art director on Avowed, you know, was popping off. People got really mad about it. And now, you know, how's the game doing? Well, it looks like we're not playing Skyrim, I'll tell you that. And so anyway, so yeah, there you go. Game definitely not doing very well at all. And so that's how it is. Let's see here. So always stay true to yourself. Guys, you have no worry that, see, here's where I'm at. I think that what I'm doing and what I'm saying is the right thing to do and the right thing to say, and I have the right viewpoints. Like, there are no opinions that I have that I consciously know are wrong. Because if I knew an opinion was wrong that I had, why the fuck would I have it? No fucking shit. It's like people say, oh, he talks like he thinks he's right. Well, why the fuck would I say something I know is wrong? That's retarded. So, no, of course not. But the same point is that with a lot of these cases, and especially with somebody controversial, you are going to have this happen a lot. You are. And you're explaining to me why I'm here? Yeah, sure, right? But it's unfair that it has consequences. It's not about unfair. Oh, this isn't fair. That's not fair. You know who gives a fuck about being unfair? Third graders. Third graders give a fuck about it. Everybody else just looks at what is and what isn't. And you have to get that mindset out of your fucking head and think about what's real and what's not, right? Fair is fiction. Real quick, before I move on, Steam Next Fest. Is there like a video, like an event that this is happening in? When does this happen? When does Steam Next Fest happen? Now it's on Steam DB. It's just demos. It's an all-day event. Okay, yeah, I didn't really understand that entirely now on Steam. Okay, yeah, I thought it was a, what do you call it? I thought it was like an event, like a stream thing. But it seems like it's not. What the fuck is this? Sort by recommended by? Why would I want to watch that? Yeah, okay, so this is not, that's not even what it is. It's just a sale? Yeah, I was very confused. Not really worth watching. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought it was going to be more stuff. But we'll look at some of the stuff from Steam Next Fest in general. But yeah, I did want to show that and talk about it because, again, this is just generally what happens, right? And that's like... I might play a game. Yeah, we'll see what happens, right? But, you know, we'll see. Graphics today pretty cool. See, I'm thinking about playing it. I downloaded the game so I could try it out. There's definitely that. But anyway, let's go back over. Did we watch the Monster Hunter Wilds review? We will get to that, okay? Don't worry. Let me make sure that I cover all the recipes, and I'll go and do that. Guys, in how many years do you think that we will be able to have video games where we shoot red hat Nazis that we have today? Man. Man, what a surprise. This person got their post and their account deleted. As I said, I really think that we, I think that we need to hold these people accountable for, like, these crazy things, these calls for violence that they're doing. It's really, really crazy. It's insane what's going on. Yeah, Redditors are fucking stupid. Why can't they stop advocating for Redditors? Because they think that they're the ones that are right. That's the problem. They think that they're right, and they think that that gives them the right to do and to damage anybody that they want. Why reacted to the Tectone video? Yeah, Tectone made like a really big video about like OTK and like his experience in it and everything. I don't know if I'm probably not going to react to it myself. I mean, like, there's things that I probably agree with, things that I don't. You know, like I don't know. Like, it's probably a bit too close, right? But yeah. It's way too long. Well, I don't know. I'll watch it off stream for sure, though. I can promise you that. So, yeah. You see the lady, Democrats were never like this 20 to 30 years ago. I think the problem is that almost all of their platforms are based off of emotional messaging. And it's very easy to get people to go into extremism when you use emotional messaging. What's this? So Chinese are taught this in school? Is it a draw knife? Yeah, my dad taught me how to do this. Yeah. Like a ninja. What's he building? Is it a catapult? Well, over here they teach you how to be transgender, and like in third grade, you know, you go to school a boy and you come home a girl. So in America, it's a little bit different than this, but you know, it's kind of the same general idea, right? Yeah, obviously. And share toy, yeah, that's crazy. So touching somebody else's woman, I don't know if I want to watch this. What is this here? NSFW violation of Twitch guy. We can't, like, I'm not gonna watch fight videos, bro. Like, we're not gonna get in here watching fight videos. What a game. Wow. What is this? Oh my. Is this girls? I just don't even want to watch that. Anyway, yeah, what is this? Cult like copium on Avowed? I don't know what's going on with Avowed. Honestly, I have no fucking idea. Yeah, I don't want to see. That's just fucking nasty. And I was going through Reddit. I often get posts from the Avowed subreddit. They all praise the game and the developers. Each post has thousands of upvotes. Each of those posts are blaming right-leaning culture, anti-wokeness for the anti-Avowed sentiment, and not a single one objectively says the game might actually be bad in a lot of ways. Well, what did it say? Because I've looked at this like now 2 days in a row. Is it still... I mean... I don't know. I mean, like... I feel like this isn't... The hate for Avowed has made me realize something. Okay, yeah, this is probably the post that they made. Okay, let me read this one, and then we've got some other stuff to look at, okay? We're not going to spend a lot of time on this bullshit today. The hate for Avowed has made me realize something. I just fucking hate gaming discourse now. Of course you do, because it's disagreeing with you. You hate it because you're losing. Yeah, I hate... It's the same as Marvel Rivals. I love the game when I'm winning. I hate it when I'm losing. Yep, for sure. I totally get this. Completely understand. I just got done with a video reviewing the, quote, cope of a game, saying that they should expect more of themselves. Honestly, why? Who does it have to be the best game? Why? Who? Wait, let me read this word for word. Who does it have to be the best game ever? Okay, he means how does it... Actually, what does he mean? Why can't it just be a good romp? People just fucking suck and I'm over it and sad. I honestly think it's helpful to remember none of this is about gaming and nothing has to do with the games in question. Yeah, well, it didn't have anything to do with Black Myth Wukong when China had something to do with making the game, or their studio did something that had to do with winning, but everybody was pushing that constantly, and they took review points off for it. So how is it that now it matters, oh, let's only look at the content of the game? Well, if that was the case, then why are these other games being rated badly for these reasons? For, you know, like, oh, well, there's not enough diversity in it. There's not this or that. It's a double standard. These people just want to maintain their status quo and maintain their power structure, and they're complaining that other people aren't cooperating. This must be very upsetting for them. And, yeah, what's this here? Global level slide into extreme partisan rhetoric fueled by both organic and inorganic media algorithms. The same mechanisms accelerating divisive politics are bleeding into every aspect of life. Watch for keywords, trending rhetoric, and viral talking points. Oh, you mean how Dragon Age the Veilguard was a return to form? You mean like that? Yeah, that's what I thought. Because if you want to look at this trending rhetoric and these talking points, the place that you find it is in mainstream media. That's the main place. You can find them as some variation thereof in everything in online discourse. Yeah, of course, to some degree, people are going to... And also, what a big surprise, people that are looking at the same thing are going to come to the same conclusion. Well, you know, I bet, like, you know, a keyword in trending rhetoric and a viral talking point when looking at an apple is saying that it's an apple. That doesn't mean it's inauthentic or inaccurate. To clarify further, I'm not saying all criticism of this game is yeah, well, all criticism is valid and the sides that it is. Because you cannot be wrong in a matter of taste. So if somebody doesn't like this game because it has black people in it, then that's their right to not like it. I think this is stupid, but you can't tell them that they're not allowed to have that opinion, even if it's dumb. And that's the way it is. Like, these people don't want it. Yeah, constitutional crisis. That's the new one that we have right now. And like and that's what's so funny about it is that like you can analyze the data of this talking point thing, but you can't see it being applied in mainstream media on steroids. Remember when you just go to the video store and rent a game for a few days off based on the package art, and if it's dropped, and be like, well, you can't wait to bring this back. Yeah, isn't that a good time where you just buy video games with no thinking? The 1 to 10 scale is dead. The time of 1 to 10 is here. The time of 1 or 10 is here. Oh, this is kind of true, is that people give bad ratings. And we're going to talk about bad ratings in just a little bit here, because there's a Monster Hunter review we're going to look at. People nowadays expect every game to cater to their own preferences.
Victory is mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be accurate. I think that's true. And if a game has X thing similar to another game and doesn't have Y thing, then the game is unplayable trash. That's not what's being discussed. Social media's cancer and we'd be better off if it imploded. Yes, for sure, man. And I'm not saying that Avowed is as good as New Vegas, but it's often hailed as the best game ever. We get the same treatment for Avowed for being woke if it was released this year. Well, yeah, because back then people didn't like it, but the people who didn't like it were being silenced. Now that people are able to talk about it, this is what happens. I'm so over game discourse nowadays. I get games and I want to enjoy them. I want to let you guys know that I have played I think a very large role in shifting the narrative with games discourse and focusing on this kind of stuff. And I think about that and I take a tremendous amount of pride. I am glad to have done it. I will keep doing it. And to the extent that you make these games that I think are problematic or weird, I will do my best to kill them. That's what's going to happen. And it wouldn't work if people didn't agree with me. You don't hate game discourse these days. You hate losing. That's what it is. We need to charge? Yeah, exactly. And my side's a bigger all-time player count than Avowed. It's not really too bad, too easy to say. How can I claim the problem is an echo chamber if it's the majority opinion? Well, the problem is that anybody who disagrees with them probably gets their comments deleted. Nobody hates games more than gamers. It's sad. Well, that's apparently not true whenever you had people that are outside of video games that are trying to make video games change. And yeah, there's a whole industry about trying to find anything woke in a video game to make 20 YouTube videos about it. Yeah, well, that's what happens whenever you make an industry about finding anything that's sexist in a video game and make a YouTube video about it too. And then you go to the UN. So you didn't want this to happen. You shouldn't have started it. No, this is the way I see it. And I'm really glad to see these people upset and crying. And I'm very, very happy about it. And I know that I played a pivotal role and I will continue to play a role. And I will do so and I will enjoy it. That's it. And so that, and also, by the way, more importantly than anything else, I will be fair. And I will do the one thing that nobody else does, which is be fair. Nobody else is usually fair. I am. I call out controversies when they make sense, and I don't call them out when they don't make sense. That's why I'm the most humble, the most modest, I have the most integrity, and I'm the most fair streamer. That's the reason. Now, I could have a bad point of reference because maybe I didn't play Skyrim, and so I didn't think Avowed was as bad as it was. But that is a discrepancy that is brought by ignorance that is accidental and not deliberate. These people have deliberate ignorance, and that's the difference. Yeah, the most streamer. Yes, I'm the most streamer, exactly. And people want to be like Twitch streamers and think if they... Man. They want to be like Twitch streamers. No, there's nobody talking about me. It's not even about me. It's just a bunch of random ass shit. Let me see. If I scroll down, I look at the rest. I'm actually loving the game. Yeah, that's fine. And you're deliberately not playing Skyrim, though? Well, I didn't like it. Yep, I didn't like it. But anyway, this is what I think is going to happen. And I think that it's just going to get worse for these people. And the game studios, here's the